T-minus now, it's time for Planet Pizza. With lots of space for fun, there's room for everyone. From me and Marianne to Planet Pizza. Space for Planet Pizza. Planet Pizza. Planet Pizza. Systems go for lunch when supper time's a crunch. T-minus now, it's time for Planet Pizza. With lots of space for fun, there's room for everyone. From me and Marianne to Planet Pizza. Space for Planet Pizza. Planet Pizza.
This presentation on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestead from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knopp. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. I've had many customers express being frustrated with the P.O. box they once had. They didn't realize they couldn't have packages delivered to their P.O. box. It's why they now have a personal mailbox here at the UPS store. We'll accept the packages for you, and you can pick them up when it's best for you. For a more efficient business, visit us at the UPS store. We are at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
Hello, I'm Steve Funningsland, consumer lender at First Western Bank and Trust and sports enthusiast. Employees at First Western know the importance of teamwork in their day-to-day banking duties to best serve the community. I know the Minot and surrounding area high school and college athletic teams know the importance of teamwork as well. We want to wish all local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this year. Stay safe on the courts, on the fields, on the rinks, and in the gyms. We look forward to watching you succeed. With familiar faces you know, who know you by name, First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This presentation on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by ProStyleProduction.com. It's time for Minot High Magicians Hockey.
Comes down low to the near side. Bennett walks out with it. Bennett centering. Feed fires it. Easton Bennett scores. It's 4-1 Magi on the twisted wrister from Easton Bennett.
The growing tradition of Magi hockey carries on today.
He scores! And it's a hat trick for Hayden Schwartz. To Jackson, play Mason Morelli with the backhand. Flips and pass to that minor. Here's Martell driving. Scores! Martell refutes. And the Magi are on the board with a power play. 40 seconds in OT. A drive coming back towards you. Scores! Crowd gets her out of that.
This presentation on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank.
Point Hyde sends it down. Bennett, top shelf, backhand. Right where Grandma keeps the cookies. And it's 5-1. Out of Gretzky's office. Bennett feeds Hyde at the line. Near side. Hyde tunes it in. Tipped in front. Vial tucks it home. And it's 5-1. Leanne's handling, whistling, firing into the glove. No, he scored. It's 2-0. Heads, tattoos at home. And the Magicians lead 2-0.
It's time for the Minot High Magician Hockey Planet Pizza pregame show. Planet Pizza, the area's ultimate party location, has been serving the Magic City for over 20 years. Call and order now at 701-852-1700.
Colby Ends will start the rush. Ends has a big hit at center ice. Welcome to senior night. Plenty of noise. Easton Bennett absolutely lights up Ruley. There's the hit of the game, maybe of the week.
Now, let's go to the ice with the voice of the Magi. Here's Nick Hulberg.
Since 2014, the Minot High Magicians and Bismarck Century Patriots have matched up 3 times in the West Region semifinals. Minot High boasts a 2-1 record against the Century Patriots. The Patriots and Magicians have gone to overtime in 2 of those 3 semifinal matchups since 2014. Guess what? They meet again tonight here in the semifinals of the 2019 West Region Tournament. We're at the Pepsi Rink, and we are live for the final game of day number 2. It's the nightcap, and somebody's got a date tomorrow night with the Bismarck High Demons after they roll over the Dickinson Midgets 9-0 in semifinal number 1. Good evening and welcome to the Planet Pizza pregame show alongside of Mr. Larry McFall and our third broadcast member, Noah Grant. Tonight, I'm Nick Hulberg. Thanks for joining us for the Planet Pizza pregame show. Planet Pizza, the area's ultimate party location. School parties, team parties, birthday parties, you name it, not to mention the best pizza in all of the Magic City. It's been that way for over 20 years. Free laser tag Monday and Wednesday. They bring you the pregame show tonight, and it could be a doozy. The heavy underdog tonight, the Magi from Minot High, go up against the number 2 seed out of the West, the 11-1-1 Century Patriots. Minot High leaves the West Region regular season play with an 8-6 mark. It's the 3rd matchup of the year that actually counts, but the 4th overall. And Century sits on 3 wins, 0 losses against the Magi this year, outscoring the Maroon and Gold 14-3 in those 3 contests earlier on this year. Larry McFall joins me now, and Larry, we all know that it's hard to beat a team 4 times in one season, but when you're the Century Patriots, you almost have to come into this contest tonight with a handful of confidence, knowing that you have been the better team all year long against the Magi.
Yeah, they come on in thinking, that they're going to win the hockey game. I was down in the lobby in front of their locker room there a little bit earlier, and they're all pretty loose and having a good time. But sometimes, as far as the Magicians go, sometimes a team can get really overconfident and think that they're just going to win easily. And if the Patriots think that, if they're that confident that they think that they're just going to run away with it, that gives Minot High a chance to maybe get at them a little bit in the first period, and before you know it, we got a hockey game. So overconfidence might be the thing to hurt the Patriots, but other than that, they're the total package. They've got everything they need to be a state champion.
When you look back to 2017, let's hop in the time machine for a minute. Century was on their home ice in the semifinals against Minot at the VFW Sports Center. It's a hockey game that went to 3 overtimes. Odie Nelson was a sophomore that year, and he was in goal for the Magi. It was a big win for him that night. Jake Vial from Easton Bennett, they get the game winner. Minot High stamps their ticket to state for their 35th appearance all time at the state high school hockey tournament. Obviously, there's a new crop of players in the locker room. But talking to some of the younger guys today, I gave them that stat that I led the show off with tonight that, you know what, the last 3 times we've played these guys in the same situation, we've got the edge, 2 wins to 1. I expect Minot High to come in here and possibly shock some people tonight. If they do that, or if they want to do that tonight, what do you think needs to happen? Do they have to be flawless? I asked John Grubb the same thing earlier in the coach's corner. Do they have to be perfect, Larry, in your mind?
Well, you just can't make any mistakes. You don't have to be perfect, but you don't want to make real bad, glaring mistakes. I mean, you can give up a couple goals and that doesn't really affect you that bad. You can come back, but if you make glaring mistakes defensively or in the net as a goaltender, that's just stuff you can't come back from. So it doesn't have to be a perfect game, but it has to be pretty darn close. They have to, and the main thing that killed them, and I'll go back to it again, that first time they played, Minot was in the box 10 times for 20 minutes. You can't do that. You stay out of the box, and you help your goaltender out, and he comes up with some big saves. I really believe you have a chance to possibly stay with the Patriots at least.
Well, the Patriots have the best player in the West region according to points scored on the season out of the West, and that's Nick Brown. He's been around for 3 years now. He's now in his senior campaign. This is a big player. He wears number 15, and Brown comes into tonight's semifinal contest. 15 goals, 15 assists. Add 10 more to both of those. He's got 25 and 25 through the tournament now, and Nick Brown's a player boasting 50 points on the season. This is a kid that you just have to shut down if you want a chance to beat him. But not only do they have Nick Brown with 50 points on the year, they've got 3 defensemen back there that in my mind are probably the tops in the state. Certainly in the West, you could add Dayton Deeks from Bismarck High to the conversation. But you look at a guy like Carter Bailey, 34 points for him, 26 for Connor Hansen, and Peyton Sleddy's got 28. Those are all defensemen, Larry. Their decor runs the show for them.
Yeah, and they're so solid, and they don't give you a good angle to the net when you're cutting in on their goalie. I've noticed that they really protect the dots on in. And when you talk about their goalie, Matthew Schmidt, the senior, he's given up 15 goals all year long. He stopped 242 out of 257 shots, Nick. That is just incredible. A 1.23 goals against average, 94.2 save percentage. This guy is solid. He doesn't get scored on very often. You got to get rebounds. You got to get in front of them. Century is famous for getting in the opposing team's goalie, getting on him, rubbing him a little bit. Well, on the other end, that's what you're going to have to do to Matthew Schmidt. You're going to have to just create complete havoc in front of him. I'm looking maybe for Hillman tonight to be one of the main guys that goes in there and antagonizes, kind of doing the Ty Domi thing tonight, so to speak, the Claude Lemieux, and stir it up and maybe make him be the one that's uncomfortable.
Well, when you look at the Magicians and what they deliver on the point side of things and what they've been delivering as of late. Again, they ride a 5-game win streak into tonight's game. They're sitting on a 7-1 mark in their last 8, and they have been dynamite up front. They had a goal last night from Kyler Stenberg, who has been snake-bitten like he's in the middle of a pit down in the Badlands with the Rattlers down there. He finally gets on the board. Nick Murphy scores again last night. Peyton Fillion scored again last night. Mason Deal scored again last night. Aiden Morelli had 3 assists in the hockey game. The Magicians win 5-1 in a bit of a sloppy game, in my opinion, against Mandan, but they've got some guys going now, and they've got some depth all the way down. The question mark on this game for me is the back end, and it's a young defensive core. And then you've got Odie Nelson in the blue paint tonight that has been splitting time with Trey Sortland, but we know that he can win games like this. Do we see Odie step up tonight and steal one from the Century Patriots? He almost has to, in my mind, and the defensive core around him has to do their job to help him out tonight if they want to. But overall, in my opinion, I think that we might be in store for a great semifinal matchup in this West Region affair tonight. Winner goes to state, loser has to play and stay alive tomorrow.
And what you were saying about the young guys in the line for Minot that's been doing really well lately, they have been noticed. I talked to Troy Olson in detail in between games 2 and 3 today. And he said, hey, he goes, those sophomores they got are unbelievable. He said, and Minot's Bantam A team came down to Bismarck and just killed everybody down there. Bantam A's are going to filter up next year. Troy Olson said, hey, these guys have really improved since the start of the year, just like you and I have said. And he has noticed that the Magicians are maybe not going to get him tonight, but Troy Olson's worried that they might eventually get him tomorrow.
Well, we're going to find out if they get him tonight. We're going to dive further into this matchup and see what it's going to take to do that here tonight. But first, when we come back to the Planet Pizza pregame show, we'll look at the tournament thus far. 2 teams eliminated today. We'll tell you who they were. We'll give you the whole tournament bracket when we come back. Then we'll talk to John Grubb, the co-head coach of the Magi. Semifinal night tonight, the Patriots and Magi.
On the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Libetto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knopp. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. I've had many customers express being frustrated with the P.O. box they once had. They didn't realize they couldn't have packages delivered to their P.O. box. It's why they now have a personal mailbox here at the UPS store. We'll accept the packages for you, and you can pick them up when it's best for you. For a more efficient business, visit us at the UPS store. We're at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
Hello, I'm Steve Funningsland, consumer lender at First Western Bank and Trust and sports enthusiast. Employees at First Western know the importance of teamwork and their day-to-day banking duties to best serve the community. I know the Minot and surrounding area high school and college athletic teams know good luck in their athletic endeavors this year. Stay safe on the courts, on the fields, on the rinks, and in the gyms. We look forward to watching you succeed. With familiar faces you know, who know you by name, First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This presentation on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Libetto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank. One likes reading history novels. The other likes dressing up like the cat from Kiss. They're the voices of Magi Hockey. Let's get back to the press box with Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
A lot of people's favorite time of the year, tournament time, and it's a fun night, the semifinal day of the West Region and East Region tournaments for North Dakota High School Hockey. Welcome back inside the press box here at Mesa Arena for the Planet Pizza pregame show. Tonight's semifinal matchup features the 3-seed Minot against the number 2-seed Bismarck Century. Planet Pizza, the area's ultimate party location. School parties, team parties, birthday parties, and so much more. They truly are out of this world. Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall. And Larry, we've seen some good hockey here at the Pepsi rink at the Mesa Arena. We're seeing that the upper tier inside of North Dakota high school hockey certainly is just a little bit better than the middle to lower tiers, as we saw Bismarck steamroll Dickinson tonight in semifinal number 1 tonight. We'll see if it's the same thing with Century and Minot. It was Century that got here with a win over Williston yesterday. Dickinson beat Jamestown in double overtime. That was the game of the tournament so far. That was number 4 against number 5. Bismarck High slaughtered Rugby to start, Bottineau Rugby to start the tournament yesterday morning. Minot got past Mandan 5-1. Loser out games that started at 11 a.m. today. Bottineau and Jamestown played, and it was Jamestown that dominated that contest, 6-1 the final there, and then Mandan took it to Williston. So Mandan moves on. They're going to play Dickinson tomorrow at 11 a.m. Winner goes to the state tournament, loser goes home. That could be a good matchup with the Braves and the Dickinson Midgets. Williston's season is done. Congratulations to Tyler Junt on another nice year over there. The future's bright for the Coyotes, I'll tell you that much. Never easy losing here in the West Region Tournament, but hats off to them, and hats off to the Bottineau Braves and Dave Hoff's group. Again, that is a hard-working bunch of guys that they just don't have a whole lot of depth. Ian Amsbaugh showed what he has to offer, and the future's bright for them also, but Bottineau's season is done and Jamestown moves on. They await the loser of this game here tonight. Your thoughts on the tournament overall?
Well, it's been very one-sided all the games so far, except for that double overtime yesterday. Now I believe that this game tonight might be closer than a lot of people think, but the cream is coming to the top, and that's Bismarck High right now, and everybody expects Century to beat Minot tonight. We'll see what happens there. But I just want to let everybody out there know that outside of Grand Forks Central, Minot High, Bismarck, and Century are just as even as any other team in the state. They can compete at that state tournament.
We'll bring in our third member of the broadcast team now, Noah Grant, who joined us last night in between the player benches last night for the coaches player interview last night. First of all, Noah, thanks for your time again tonight. Great job last night. Do you have any fear down there in between the benches without a helmet on?
You know, honestly, I think my biggest fear is not letting my toes freeze. It's a little bit chilly, and I'm not used to being down on a bench and not being in the game. So maybe Larry McFall can invest in a space heater down there.
Chilly? It's 62 degrees in here. How could you be chilly down there?
Well, it's easy for you to say when you're sitting up in the nice and cozy press box, I think.
Yeah, Larry, keep in mind, Larry's a wily veteran. He doesn't get cold, He wears shorts at the rink. Your thoughts on last night's matchup for Minot High? You were down ice level, basically on the bench with the Magicians. What was the tone down there with Minot High? Was there some frustration? They just didn't seem to play very well last night. What did you take away from being that close?
Yeah, they were a little bit frustrated, and one of the things I noticed early was there was a lot of chatter on the bench, and chatter's good as far as communication, but it's all about staying in the moment. Not too high, not too low, seeing if you can be even keel. You can be talking, you can be engaged on the bench, but you don't want to have a sense that you're manic, in a sense. You don't want to be overcommitted and freaking out over every little thing. You want to make sure that you keep it in perspective, think about the bigger picture, and then go out and execute.
When you're going up against Bismarck Century tonight, first for Minot High in the game plan in your mind, Century's got 3 guys on the back end that, in my opinion, are probably going to play junior hockey back there, and they're solid. I mean, they're good. They're offensive. They're defensive. They take care of their own end first. What is your game plan as an offensive mind going up against a team like that has such a powerhouse defensive core back there? Is there anything special that stands out to you on the X's and O's?
Well, oddly enough, on the offensive side, it doesn't start without the defensive side. As forwards, you got to make sure that you're taking care of your own zone. Make sure that you're kicking pucks up, not putting pucks in wingers' feet, trying to get out of the zone. The zone exits have to be clean. Make these defensemen turn their feet. They can't be offensive if they're on their heels the entire time. If you're Minot, you've got to come out, and these first 10 minutes have to be yours. You have to try to get this Century team on its heels, because on paper they're the better team, and if they're a little bit complacent, you can really turn the tide early, especially in your home building.
Have some fun down there tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Noah Grant, third member of the broadcast team. We're going to head to our final break here on the Planet Pizza pregame show before we talk to Coach John Grubb. His thoughts after last night's win for the Magi. They win by a final score last night of 5-1 over the Mandan Braves. We'll get his thoughts. Or do you have a stat update for us before we head to the break?
Yeah, scoring from the east. Grand Forks Central now pouring it on. It was close at the end of the period. Now it's not. Grand Forks Central now leads at 4-1, and the second period is now in the books, and they have outshot Red River now 26-11. So once again, the Grand Forks Central buzzsaw continues to move on.
Yeah, that's a well-oiled machine. Look out for them. You don't want to match up with them at the state tournament until Saturday night. Hopefully the Magi can make it back to the state tournament for the 36th time. They can punch their ticket with a win tonight in semifinals against Century. We'll hear the coach's thoughts when we return. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
Systems go for lunch. Frequent supper times a crunch. T-minus now, it's time for Planet Pizza. With lots of space for fun. There's room for everyone. From me and Marianne to Planet Pizza. Planet Pizza.
It's time for the Planet Pizza pregame Coach's Corner. Get your game plan for laser tag in the largest laser tag playground in the region. Did we mention the cheesy, delicious, mouth-watering first bite of a Planet Pizza pizza? Now, here's the matchups insight with the Planet Pizza Coach's Corner.
Now joined by John Grubb, the co-head coach of the Minot High Magicians for the Planet Pizza pregame Coach's Corner here tonight. West Region semifinal night, always one of our favorite times of the year, and you guys are back in the semifinals again for another year for Magicians Hockey. First of all, congrats on the win last night, and thanks for a little bit of time here tonight.
Yep, excited.
Bismarck Century is the opponent, and a lot of people talk about this team being the best team in the West Region. Bismarck High would like to plead that case and argue it there, but your thoughts overall on the way things are shaping up here in the tournament? Seems like the better teams are basically winning throughout the entire 2 days so far. Your thoughts on the tournament here so far before we talk about the matchup here tonight?
It's been a good tournament, and it's kind of played out how it should be. The higher seeds need to beat the lower seeds to move on, and so far that's what we've seen, and hopefully we can change that tide tonight.
Let's go back to last night for just a moment, and it just seems like Minot High, the team that's been red hot to end the year. Is it fair to say you guys didn't have your best hockey game last night? It was just a little bit sloppy in my mind, not a whole lot of shots on goal. You guys still get out of there with a 5-1 win, and that's all that really matters, but fair to say that last night wasn't to perfection by any means?
Yeah, I mean, we capitalized on the few chances we got, and, you know, we eliminated a lot of theirs, which was a positive that we took away from them. We only gave up 12 shots, I believe. But, you know, offensively, we didn't think we were on it like we should have been. We weren't forechecking, we weren't overly physical. So, you know, I think a little bit of that was nerves to start, and then we kind of got a 2-goal lead, and I think the kids kind of maybe looked past them, which they shouldn't have done. But, you know, hopefully we can find our legs tonight.
It was fun talking about Stenberg in the pregame show last night and hoping that maybe he could shake the monkey off of his back. He gets a goal last night. Mason Deal has a couple great plays last night. He scores a goal. Fillion and Murphy are back on the board, and Aiden Morelli, 3-point night last night. Nice to see some of those guys emerge with multiple point nights, certainly to get them rolling at tournament time here.
Yeah, you hope they can keep it rolling, and it, you know, just adds to their confidence. And, you know, it'd be fun to score some goals on semifinal night here tonight, so we'll see if they can pick some of that up.
You guys are going to have a tough challenge at hand against Matt Schmidt, who's got the best numbers in the West Region, the Century goaltender. And in my mind, Century's defensive core is probably the tops in the state, certainly out west here. What do you guys do to game plan against a team that's got Hansen and Sleddy and Bailey back there, and plus some, but those are the three guys that really come to mind. You guys really key in on that here tonight?
We're going to try tonight. That's going to have to be job number one, is, you know, eliminating the offense from their back end. They like to jump down the wall, take control of the puck, and they get right in on it. You know, as they do that, they do take chances. So we need to make sure they're going through our body to get down that wall. And if we can chip some pucks past them, we should have some opportunities at some 2-on-1s. And, you know, if you get them, you need to bury them. And that's kind of what this game's going to shape up to.
On your guys' back end, you go with Odie Nelson tonight, the senior goaltender that's got wins in the region tournament the same night in his career against Bismarck Century. But tonight he goes against a kid by the name of Nick Brown, who's the tops in the West region for point production, 25 goals, 25 assists for 50 points on the year. Do you key in on shutting a player like that down here tonight?
Oh, we're going to tell our centers you got to stick to him. You got to play physical with him. He's a big kid, but he's not overly physical, so we need to be the same thing. He needs to go through our body to get to the net with the puck. We got to keep him to the outside. As long as you play hard against him, hopefully that slows him down a little bit.
If you guys want to make your 36th appearance in school history at the state high school hockey tournament, do you have to play the absolute best game that the Magicians have? This is kind of an underdog matchup in my mind tonight. Century is the real deal. They're number 2 in the state last year, and they didn't lose a whole lot of guys. Well, they certainly did up front, but they had plenty that returned after Irie and Thomas left for them. Do you have to be perfect tonight if you guys want a shot to win this thing?
I don't know if it to be perfect, but we need to bring our best game. If we don't bring our best game, we're not going to have a chance to win. But if we bring our best game, you need a little puck luck, you need some bounces, you need some good goaltending. If we can do those things and our best game's with us, we have a chance to win the hockey game.
Century's had your guys' number 3 times this year. It's always tough to beat a team 4 times, certainly. Is there one key to the game tonight besides everybody going that really stands out to you guys and shutting down their defense if you guys want to win here tonight?
Yeah, I think it's our start. Previous times we've played them, we haven't gotten off to good starts, or we've been in games with them and not finished it. Outdoor game was a 3-2 game. Shots weren't very far apart, and they kind of took over in the third. So I think it's about playing a complete game. We have not played 3 periods against them. We've played some good hockey against them for spurts, and we need to find out a way to put 3 periods together.
Hoping to see you guys punch your ticket to the state tournament here tonight and matching up with Bismarck High tomorrow. If not a Jamestown matchup to qualify for the state tournament, best of luck in this one here tonight in the semifinals.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
That's John Grupp, co-head coach of the Minot High Magicians. When we come back to the Planet Pizza pregame show, we'll dive further into the numbers and we'll face it off. Semifinal night tonight. Minot High Magicians hockey taking on Bismarck Century. This is Magi Hockey.
On the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank.
I'm Steve Funningsland, consumer lender at First Western Bank and Trust and sports enthusiast. Employees at First Western know the importance of teamwork and their day-to-day banking duties to best serve the community. I know the Minot and surrounding area high school and college athletic teams know the importance of teamwork as well. We want to wish all local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this year. Stay safe on the courts, on the fields, on the rinks, and in the gyms. We look forward to watching you succeed. With familiar faces you know, who know you by name, First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Systems go for lunch when supper time's up. Crunch you. T-minus now, it's time for Planet Pizza. With lots of space for fun, there's room for everyone. From me and Marianne to Planet Pizza.
They have a combined 1 win and goal for the Magi, but have some of the most legendary calls on the radio for the Magicians. Here's the voices of Magi Hockey, Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
Will we have more of those legendary calls tonight? We're going to find out. Semifinal night, Minot High, Bismarck Century, and a big matchup, the 4th of the year between these two hockey teams. It's the Planet Pizza pregame show. Planet Pizza has a 30-inch pizza. It's called a Galactic. It is truly out of this world. That stuff is just fantastic. You can call it, order now, 701-852-1700. 701-852-1700. I'm sure the delivery guy's on his way right now to the press box. Just Myself, Nick Hulberg, along with Larry McFall, we're starving up here tonight.
Well, you were supposed to. What did I win last night for the Stump Stonewall? I thought we'd get the pizza in here.
That was unbelievable, by the way. I can't believe that even happened.
Oh, I'm just surprised that I thought we were going to have food up here bought by you. Have you ever ate one of those Galactians by yourself?
I have not. It's not really possible.
I did it.
You did it?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. How long did it take you?
It was about, for one thing, it was the early 2000s when I still had some room in here. Now it's expanding out. I have no more room.
My goodness.
How long did it take me? One football game. It was gone by the end of the game. That's good.
Yeah, they're good. It's a huge pizza.
That's pretty big, though. I probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, probably not. That's why they call you the legend.
That's why they called me and told me I had diabetes.
We're going to see if anybody becomes legendary tonight. There's some players in this one that certainly have the ability to do that. School song blares for the Magi. They'll be the road team tonight. They're going to be in the opposing bench that they're not used to tonight. Century will be the home team. Minot High's just about ready to run onto the ice here. 4:35 away from puck drop. Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall. Larry, let's dive into the numbers of this one tonight. Minot High and Bismarck Century. The Magi, the number 3 seed. Overall, the record's 11-10 on the year. They were 8-6 in West Region play. That included 2 losses to Century in the regular season. Then you look at Century, that's 18-2-1 overall on the season. They were undefeated last year. They were the best team of the West Region, hands down. They were almost the best team in the state of North Dakota. They lost to Grand Forks Central in the title game. They boast an 11-1-1 record inside of West Region play. And one of those losses, one of those ties comes to Bismarck High, who's the number 1 seed. Century, the number 2 seed. They're led by Nick Brown. We talked about his 25 goals and 25 assists, which is good enough for 50 points. That's a lot of points for Nick Brown. He's the real deal. Carter Bailey, Peyton Sleddy, and Connor Hansen. These are all senior defensemen. 34 points for Bailey, 28 for Sleddy, 26 for Hansen. Next forward and player on the list is Austin Wald. He's got 22 points on the year, 21 for Carter Schoenberg. Colton Schulte has 16, 15 for Alex Samarzik. When you look at the Magi, they're led by Peyton Fillion. 26 points for him on the year. He's emerged as of late. 9 goals, 17 assists for Fillion. Nick Murphy had a hat trick to end the season. He scored again last night. He had an assist for the Magi. The junior in 21 games has 22 points. Nice year for him, by the way. 22 points as well for Aiden Morelli. He was good for 3 points last night, all in the form of assists last evening. 15 points on the year for the sophomore Casey Field. 18 for Mason Deal. He had a 2-point night last night. Jack Plemmel's got 11. Kyler Stenberg has 10. Here's the numbers that we really dial in and focus on tonight. You're looking at the best goaltender numbers in the West Region, and it's Matt Schmidt from Century. The senior's played in 12 games. He's got a record of 9-2-1. He's been solid. 94.2% save percentage and a 1.23 goals against average. And they're filthy. I don't know how else to say it. That's like street hockey numbers right there. It's hard to get one past this kid. You mentioned he's only given up 15 goals on the year. Tonight he goes against the senior Odin Nelson, 4-5 in his senior campaign, 3.28 goals against average, and an 87% save percentage. Nelson on the year's got 1 goose egg, and he comes in with 8 games played on the year. Those 2 goaltenders are going to be busy tonight. You'd have to assume Nelson will be a bit busier here in this contest. Anything could happen here at region tournament time. The semifinals, the lights are down. Century's on the ice. Minot High's on the ice as well. Official introductions from Dan Sem coming up. Larry, your overall thoughts on this one? One key in your mind for Century to get a win tonight against Minot High first?
The key for Century is just play hockey the way they've been playing, according to all your stats. Just do what you've been doing. Century hasn't really done anything the last 2 years that really sticks out as, wow, what are you guys doing? They just have to play their game, but they've been very successful rattling the cage of the Magician goaltender and getting in on him, knocking him around a little bit. That has really created some offense for Century because, and the goalie I'm talking about, tonight's starter, Odie Nelson, seems to get a little frustrated when they're always bodying him all the time. He's got to just ignore that. But if I'm Century, I keep doing that. For the Magicians, John Grubb hit it on the head. I talked about it earlier as well. You just can't make very many mistakes. You don't have to be perfect, but I think Minot has to do the same thing to Matthew Schmidt. They have to get in on him and rattle him a little bit. They haven't really done that any previous game. I mean, it can go both ways. I mean, you know, what comes around goes, or what comes around goes around. Or I think it's what it's. I think I got that screwed up, don't I? I'm pretty pumped up here. But they can rattle Schmidt's cage too. Rattle him, get in front of him, get some traffic. The first shot's not going in on him. He's a guy you have to get rebounds on or deflections.
It's going to be a fun one tonight. Dan Sim, that booming PA voice. You hear him in the background. He's got the introductions for Magi, the visitors, on the scoreboard tonight. He'll have the introduction for Century coming up next. Larry, any closing thoughts before we come back and face it off here tonight?
Let's just see what happens. Just Minot High has nothing to lose. They're a huge underdog, almost like when you and I go golfing. I'm a huge underdog. So they just have to go after it and see what happens.
Let's have some fun tonight. We'll head to the break with a little touch of Dan Sim's voice for you. It's the semifinals tonight, Century and Minot High. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
Centering for the Magicians tonight, a junior skater number 10, Peyton Filia. This presentation on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank.
The areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Now, back to the ice. Here are the voices of Magi Hockey, Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
Well, the lights were down inside the venue. The laser light show that you see at Beavers games and Toros games was certainly putting an element of atmosphere into this one. Semi-final night tonight. It's Minot High and Bismarck Century here on 1390 KRRZ and at ProStyleProduction.com. Great crowd on hand tonight, filling into Pepsi Rink here at Mesa Arena. Let's set up the radio dial for you tonight. The Magi are the road team, number 3 seed in the West. They've got their maroon helmets, pants, and gloves on. They've got maroon uniforms with the big square M on the chest. They're trimmed out in Vegas gold and white. Odie Nelson to the blue paint on the left. You look at the Century Patriots, they're in their white uniforms. They kind of look like old school Minot Americans uniforms. They've got red and blue trim. They've got the Century Patriot logo across the chest. You got Matt Schmidt, the blue paint on the right. And we are underway for semifinal number 2 tonight. It's the Patriots moving from the right to the left, and they've scored 12 seconds in.
Oh, boy. It came right on in, a perfect play, great pass. And, boy, 12 seconds. And that can just kill you.
My goodness. The Patriots are on the board 12 seconds in. Tic-tac-toe. It's Nick Brown assisted by Sleddy and Connor Hansen.
Even straight goal, 12 seconds into the first. Skater number 15, Nicholas Brown. Assisted on the play by 22, Connor Hansen, and 14, Carter Bailey. That's 15 from 22.
My goodness, 51st point of the year for Nick Brown, goal number 26. Everything we said in the pregame show is exactly right. And on the first shot of the night, the Patriots have a 1-0 lead. They control back in their own territory, back behind the net of Schmidt. It's Carter Bailey that handles here. He wears the Siena's uniform. He pokes that one up to center. Deal whacked at it at neutral ice. Then the Patriots deliver into Magi territory. Hertz had a hit on the attacking Peyton Sleddy, and around the end wall it comes, and out to center. Here's Jack Plebble. He tried to move it across the neutral ice zone. Hit traffic, and it rolls all the way back into the Century end. 1 minute, 8 seconds into period one. Century on top tonight, 1-0. They scored 12 seconds into the hockey game. Nick Brown's 26th of the year. Field takes it from center with a backhand. Dumps it back in behind Schmidt. He's on the retrieve around the near wall. Now Oprud from the line. Teed it up, and it hit traffic in front and went wide. Nick Brown side to side, sent it up to center, and Austin Wald. But on the retrieve for the Magi was young Riley Oprud. He delivered it back to his deep partner, Ben Bonebreak. Now bumped ahead. It's going to roll all the way down on Matt Schmidt. And Schmidt lets it go to the right of the net where Sleddy's got it. And here comes, make that Bailey instead. Bailey's got it. Sent in front field. Rebound shot save. Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
Matt Schmidt robbed him. Nice play from Hillman. He set it up right on a tee, and the Magicians almost tied it at 50 seconds in.
Boy, Matt Schmidt made the initial save and then somehow got on over and stopped the rebound as well. 2 huge saves for one of the best goalies in the state right off the bat.
He wears white CCM goal pads. They're all white except the bar on the outside of the pad. That's red. Those are neat. Kind of looks like the goalie net. Neat outfit for Matt Schmidt. All white helmet, by the way. Puck handled by the Patriots now. They're red helmets. They push it out to center ice. Connor Hansen's back on the retrieve. Hansen finished 5th in scoring last year for the Patriots. He had 45 points as a junior. Not too bad for a defenseman, eh? Puck handled here by the Patriots, and it's Hansen. He also wears a Siena's uniform, delivers to his partner Bailey, and Bailey walks over center, launches it down and behind Odie Nelson. Hunter Copes on the retrieve. Suicide pass up in front of the net. Got it up to Nick Murphy, and now he connects with Fillion. And Fillion dumps it in behind the goaltender Schmidt. One man aggressive on the forecheck. That's Deal. Got down there early, tried to send it in front. No one home for the Magi. Stenberg's going to hold the zone, and Stenberg takes it down offensive territory. Rolls it in on Schmidt. He makes the stop, and then Stenberg goes crashing in. But the Century net keeper hung tight to it.
See, and Stenberg did there what I really wish they would do a lot more, just shoot the puck. He was in deep. He had a bad angle, but he just takes a shot to get it on the net, and that almost bounced in between the leg pad and the post on Schmidt.
By the way, Dennis Bedot and Kevin Wilk are the linesmen tonight. The White Mac and Eric Steele have the stripes on. They're in charge tonight. 4-man system for North Dakota High School hockey and the officiating crew. Puck is handled here by the Patriots, back in their own territory. Jacob Paul worked it around the end wall. It's going to come back to Paul on the near side wing. On the boards now for Austin Wold, right side of the radio dial. Up to the left for Nick Brown, out to center ice. Goes from the near boards to the far, right in front of the Minot High bench. And the Maroon and Gold trying to move it out to center again with Jack Plemmel. One hand on the stick, swept it ahead forward, but Damon Dixon took it there. And Dixon delivers it down into Magi territory. And soon after, he was pounded into the boards by Jack Plemmel. Blocker side of Odin Nelson. Out with the puck, Damon Dixon. Center slot, trying to get a handle on it. Comes all the way back out to center. The rolling puck will be retrieved by Peyton Sleddy. He takes a hard slap shot around the end boards, rolls all the way around, and up to center ice again, where it's taken here by Brandon Schaefer. He delivered to Dixon, and Dixon's in on the near half wall, down underneath the goal line in front of Odin Nelson. Side of the net of Nelson. Puck will come back up to the point. Hansen handles and delivers back down low underneath the goal line. Patriots went for a change up front, freed some real estate for Thongfet, the D-man for the Magicians. Up on the near wall, it's Field that's trying to clear the zone. He can't. Hillman intercepts here, and Hillman's going to clear it out to center. He was our third star of the game last night. A couple guys with multiple point nights were left off the list of our top 3 last night, but Hillman was certainly buzzing. He's out there now with Hauser and Field. Field walked over the blue line. He was hit on the play there by 14, Carter Bailey. And now Bailey's got it at center. Sockers it forward up to Schulte. Schulte walks, fires, top of the circle, and that's a shot from the top of the circle and into the back of the net it goes. And if I'm...
Unbelievable. That came from the top of the circle, uncontested, and
Odie Nelson's got to stop that shot, Larry. They need to pull him right now. 12-17 left in the first period. That's just my opinion. Uncontested shot from the top of the circle and into the back of the net it goes.
4:43 the time of that goal. And it'll be 9 from 14. So that's Colton Schulte from Carter Bailey.
On the near side wall, defensive zone. Sleddy turns it, fires it right up into the seats. Look out. Souvenir will find a fan.
So the Magicians have dug themselves a hole here early, giving up goals on both Century shots.
2 shots, 2 goals. Last one from the top of the circle. Nick Murphy off the draw, back to the point, Hunter Cope. Taken here by the Patriots. They push it out to center. Now it's Field. Comes up to Sleddy again. It's Aiden Morelli trying to take it away, and back down it comes. Onto the tape here for Hertz. He coughed it up back in behind his own net. Nick Brown's got it down low. Brown is going to work out of the corner. Bottom of the circle. Brown dangling with it. Big Nick Brown worked it back to the far wall. Over there battling now is Hertz trying to free it. No winger there for the Magi. It's freed now by Schulberg up to the point. Comes back away now to Hertz. He'll wrap it around the near side boards, and around it comes up to Nick Murphy trying to clear. He does. Philly at center ice. Freed it down to Nick Murphy. He's right over the center ice stripe, and it's going to be dumped in by Nick Murphy. Is that an icing on the Magi? No, they say that the D-man could have got there. That was Gavin Saylor. Big hit on the near side, top of the circle, offensive zone from Stenberg. Puck's free down low. Deal offensive territory. Side of the net, behind the cage now. Sends it in front, back to the point. Bone break. Tees one up shot. Knocked down in front of the cage, and it's Stenberg scrubbing for it. Take it here by the Patriots. And Brandon Schaefer pushes it back to center. Jack Klebel's back in, trying to send it across to a streaking Stenberg. He had it taken away, and Bailey goes back up the far side wall. Big hit there from Riley Oprud. Look out, welcome to the jungle on semi-final night. Oprud, the sophomore, had a big hit. Puck comes back away to the Patriots in their own territory. Pushed out to center by Colton Schulte. Schulte's back in, top of the circle, centering feet, a drive. Nelson made the stop, thought it got behind him. Third shot of the hockey game, and the first stop of the game for Odie Nelson. Minot High down 2-0. Drive from the line, Odie trying to gobble it up. He'll hang on to it, struggling with the puck as Nelson to the faceoff comes to the blocker side.
He did make a good acrobatic save there before this last one. And on the last save, he's just kind of handcuffed a little bit by that shot, but he found it and fell on it and got the whistle. With 10-11 left here in period 1, Bismarck Century leads it 2-0.
Nick Brown in on the draw. He goes up against Derwin Hauser. Hauser's really emerged this year. He's a player that's only got 8 points for the Magi. Here's a drive from Bailey. And that time, Nelson had no trouble with the glove save. He hangs on tight to it. Hauser's back in on the draw against Nick Brown again. Nice crowd tonight here at Pepsi Rig. More than was here last night, that's for sure. We thought about 500 last night. You'd have to think that maybe pushing half full here tonight. From center ice, right in front of the Patriot bench, they control with Brown. He went back to his D-man. It's Carter Bailey. And Bailey drops it back over to Hansen, and Hansen moves it up to center, now to Nick Brown. Brown's in. Delayed call coming on the Magi. Patriot net keeper Schmidt goes off. Here's a drive from the line, and Nelson wrangles that one and hangs tight. Delayed call here on the Patriots, or on the Magicians, I mean. Let's go down ice level. Noah Grant is in between the boxes here for us tonight.
Important for the Magicians to settle down here. Their leadership group has to get them back and involve the pucks like a live hand grenade on their sticks right now, and they need to weather the storm here and get back to their game.
Settle it down just a bit is what Noah's taken from ice level. Power plays out for the Magi. Penalty kills out for the Magi. Hertz is in the box for 2 minutes. Back in behind Odie Nelson, goes back away here to Operud. He's going to sling this one the length of the ice, and down it comes back in behind the net. And on the retrieve in his own territory to pick it up, that's Gavin Saylor. Sailor's back in behind the Century cage, got it off to Bailey and now on to center ice. It's delivered far side to Crew Walker. Walker's in, fires left to the glove of Nelson. It's down low underneath the net. Walker's going to walk out, turns it, fires, shot. Where's it at? Loose in front, still loose, still scrubbing for it. Nelson throws his own mask off. Is that going to be a delay of game on Nelson? What will the call be?
Calling goaltender interference, I believe, here on the Patriots.
Well, Nelson draws that call. He threw his mask off when he was laying in front of the blue paint. Into the box goes the Patriots' Austin Wald.
8:09 the time of that penalty.
4-on-4 action. 8:51 to play in the first. Minot High's down 2-0. On the glove side of Matt Schmidt for the face-off. Stenberg's in on the draw. Stenberg won the draw away there from Samarzik, and it's back in behind the net to the Patriots where Bailey and Hansen play catch with it. One man aggressive for the Magi, that's Deal. Back up to Hunter Cope and then sent back down to the corner where Bailey's got it on the near wing, taken by Deal, sends it back in front, trying to deliver to Stenberg. It was taken away, and here come the Patriots on a 3-on-2 back to center, led by Schulte. Schulte gets around a man. Schulte turns and fires, and then Nelson gloved that one, and he'll hang tight to it. 9th shot of the hockey game on Odie Nelson. It's save number 7.
The Magicians' defense is letting these guys cut on in from the dot right in on goal. Schulte did it again there. That's one thing you have to protect. They're going to have to get better at protecting that front slot to the crease.
Blocker side of Odie Nelson. Off the draw, bone break, trying to push it out of the zone. It's going to go all the way back into the far corner. D territory for the Magi where Hunter Cope delivers it back over here to Bonebreak. He fires it up the wall. Now Deal trying to connect with Stenberg, and it's pushed right back in by Nick Brown. Nelson's out of the net to play it. Nelson just shotguns this one right back up to center ice. It's taken away by Stenberg, and Stenberg's in on the chance. Stenberg turns and fires. Matt Schmidt made the stop with the shoulder. Puck goes back away to Stenberg, far side, 14 seconds, a 4-on-4. Then the Magi will go to the power play for roughly 40 seconds. Top of the circle it comes, and out the way with it. Here come the Patriots and Gavin Saylor. And on the backhand, Saylor sends it down and behind Nelson, who's out of the net to play it. Nelson launches this one up to center ice, and he threw it right to Bailey, and Bailey's back in with it for the Patriots. Shorthanded, Bailey a drive. Oh, he sent it wide. Feld's back behind the Magi net. 30 seconds remains on the power play. 7:24 to play here in the first. Patriots are up 2-0 on the Magi. They scored on their first 2 shots of the hockey game tonight. Hansen back over to Bailey. Bailey's going to launch this one in on Nelson from center, and Odie drops it down left of the blue paint. We're back to retrieve is Nick Murphy. 10 seconds of the Magi power play with 10 minutes complete here in the first period. Murphy trying to bring the Magi back within 1, takes it to the other end of the ice, offensive zone, back up to Philly, and turns, fires, pad save, rebound, went wide to the far side, and back to the point it comes. Here for Riley Oprud, sends it in, whistled it up and wide. Patriots are back at full strength as the puck is sent around the boards all the way up to the Century bench at the blue line. Oprud held it in, and now the Magi push it down low where Morelli's on the prowl. Morelli trying to free it back over to Feld, and it goes back away to the far side wing where it's taken by Crew Walker and out to center. Here comes Jaden Reimer. Reimer brought it in. Thogfett put up a brick wall, said I don't think so, and now it's Oprud that tries to deliver on the near side wing. Walker's got it back, and he sends it in front of the net. Look out, loose in front of the Magi blue paint, and now it's Oprud on the near wall that tries to put it high up off the glass and clear it. He does, out to center. Hillman trying to move it forward into offensive territory. He's got the help of Hauser that does that now, but it's the Patriots back with the puck, and the Patriots at center. Move it back ahead there to Damon Dixon. Taken away by Hauser with the help there of Jaden Luck, and Hauser carries it back in behind the Century net. Taken here again by the Patriots, and Damon Dixon from the far side tried to clear the zone. Hillman skated back to the blue line, took it and dumped it right back in behind Matt Schmidt. Under 6 to play in the first period. Century's up 2-0 tonight. Nick Brown's 26th goal of the year. Then they got one from Schulte, his 8th of the season. Patriots are up 2-0. 5:24 to play in the first period. Back away to the far side wall, down low. Stenberg sends it in front of the drive. Oh, one-timer. The stop was made on the Plemmel attempt as Jack Plemmel was bidding for his 12th point of the year. Delayed call coming as Eric Steele has his arm in the air. It will be on the Patriots, it looks like. And then look out, we got a scrum in front of the net. And Stenberg make that Plemmel is on top of 26. Gavin Saylor and the boys will be boys tonight. We'll have more coming from that, you'd have to assume.
11:53 will be the time of the penalty. We went quite a bit without a whistle. It is Plemmel, one of them coming to the box. And also skater number 26 for Bismarck Century coming on in, Gavin Saylor. Of course, his dad, a former Minot High magician. Brett Saylor, a champion actually. His dad was a champion on the 92 Minot team. And now the captains will come over for the discussion. Matthew Schmidt is so good at being in position on all those shots. The Magicians have had a couple of good opportunities. Schmidt is just so solid.
He is solid, Larry. Absolutely. Seat 5 and stopped them all. Out of that ordeal, Minot High's getting a 2-minute power play. Plemmel's going to get a 2-minute roughing out of it. Saylor's getting a 2-minute roughing out of it, and then Saylor had the initial cross check, so Minot High gets their first power play on the ice here tonight. Shots in this one are 10-5. Power play for the Magi comes out. They've got Fillion with Morelli. Fillion's the center, but Morelli's on the left side. You've got Feld on the right side. Operud's at the point. Student section stands in the way up here, so I can't see who the second blue liner is. It's Murphy. Shot save, rebound, center of the net, another shot save. Still pounding on it, and that Schmidt hangs on tight.
The puck was up against the post in the skate, but it was loose. The Magicians kept on hacking at it, and Schmidt's even good on those. Covers it up, gets the whistle. The faceoff will come to his left with exactly 5 minutes remaining now in period number 1.
Well, Aiden Morelli looked like a lumberjack on that right pad of Matt Schmidt. He was bidding for his 15th of the year. Bidding really isn't the word. He was whacking away at it, trying to do that, and Schmidt held on to it. Patriots sent it to the other end of the ice. 4:45 to play in the first, a minute 35 on the Magi power play. Semi-final night here in the Magic City at the Pepsi rink as the Patriots launch this one all the way down. And on Odie Nelson it comes, and Nelson's going to play it. Fires it up to center, connects with Fillion. Dump and chase for the Magi from the near wall to the far. Taken from their own end, and the Patriots fired all the way out. That one hammered out by Jacob Paul. Scrum forward at center ice. Minute 10 on the Magi power play. Down by 2 are the Magicians. Patriots scored on their first 2 shots of the night tonight. 12 seconds in was the first. Here's Operud on the near wall. Got it up to Nick Murphy. Back over to Operud. Operud back up over center, and he's walking in over the blue line. Off to Feld. Feld back to Operud to drive. Oh, he sent it wide, and he had a yawning goal mouth. That should have been Operud's second of the year. He's going to be dreaming about that one. Open net on the far side. Just couldn't get it to convert. Taken there by Stenberg.
Opportunity.
Stenberg sends it down underneath. But it comes up to center ice on the clear from Bailey. New unit out for the Magi, and it's Hillman that's hard on the prowl. He goes in and hits Bailey, but not before Bailey sent it to the other end of the ice. Nelson's back behind the net to play it. Nelson fires it up the wall where he connects with Stenberg. And now Stenberg at center, sends it across to the near side wing, taken here by Hansen. Back up to Deal, and Deal rifles it into the zone. Right back out of the zone by Hansen. That will do it for the Magi power play as the Patriots are at full strength. Back in behind the Patriot net to the right side. Taken here, drive comes in, pad save again from Matt Schmidt. Patriots have control of the puck into the top of the circle, out of their own zone. They go with Cullen Curl. Curls down over the blue line. Offsides will be the call on the Patriots. Still 2-0. They lead with 2:48 to play the first.
The Magicians have been carrying the play a little bit here the last couple minutes. They're getting down into the Century zone and just having a lot of opportunities. I like the way that they're working. It's just a dagger when you give up the first 2 goals on the first 2 shots. It's very tough to recover from that. And I think they're doing a pretty good job of trying to get back above water.
Well, it's hard, especially when the second one is one that you just have to stop. I mean, a clear look from the outside top of the circle is one you can't give up in this game. Bottom line, period, end of story. So I thought maybe we would have saw Sortland after that one. That my mind was soft. Here's the delayed call on the Magi.
14-31. We've got a lot of penalties rolling in tonight. Tripping will be the call on skater number 19. That's Hunter Culp.
2:29 to play here in the first period. Now the Century power play comes out.
1 minute mark. Tripping, 2 minutes. Skater number 19 at 14:31 of the first.
Glove side of Odin Nelson. Century power plays out, and they win the draw. Back to the point. Comes across to Bailey. Rolls it on Nelson. He's way out in front of the blue paint. Falls on it aggressively, and he hangs tight. Well, when you look at Odie Nelson's numbers coming into tonight, a .328 goals against average and an 87% save percentage. He's 4-5 in his senior campaign. He's been splitting time with Trey Sortland over their last 8 games, where the Magicians have gone on a 7-1 mark. Here's a drive. Nelson made the stop. Nelson played in 3 of those games. Sortland played in 5. On that last 8-game run for the Magi. Drive from the line, knocked out in front of the net. Comes back away to the far side, top of the circle. Handled here by the Patriots, and down low they work it here with Schulte. And Schulte from behind the cage works it back up to Bailey near point. Looks to the far point. The no-look delivers down low. A drive went up and over the head of Nelson. Off the attempt from Schulte. Back at the far line, dropped down, top of the circle, down to the corner. Left side of the radio dial. Patriots handle their power plays out for the next minute 14. It's only a minute 50 left of the game. Shot, they score again, and it's 3-0 Bismarck Century.
You cannot go in the box very often against the Patriots. They'll make you pay. And they did it in the opening game this year. They've done it several times since. And they do it again. A power play goal. And that's going to come at 15-21.
Well, I love to see Riley Opru, the sophomore defenseman. He comes back down. Talks to Odie Nelson. Tried to calm him down a bit after that goal.
Summary, a power play goal at 15:21 of the first. Skater number 9, Colton Schulte.
Second of the game for Schulte, by the way.
The assist.
And 21, Jacob Paul. That's 9 from 8.
Assist from 8 and 21.
Power play goal, 15:21 of the first.
Blocker side of Schmidt. The puck is handled here. Up to center ice. It's taken by Bailey. He delivers across near side wing to Austin Wald. Now, wraparound attempt there from Nick Brown was stopped by Odin Nelson. Trying to clear was Fillion. Taken away, and the Patriots take it right back down low. Here's Brown. Turns and fires. The stop is made, and Nelson will hang on to it. There was a scrum in front of the Magi net. Riley Oprud was on the wrong end of that. The player right on top of him. Was that Schoenberg, or who was that? Oprud.
Well, they're trying to keep guys off of Nelson. They get so close, and they actually infringe on the blue paint. So the Magicians are trying to put some bodies there and move some guys out of the way. But boy, some of these Patriot players are so tough on their skates and so big.
Brown's back behind the net, blocker side. Brown stick handles. We're under a minute to play. A drive went to the side of the net. Goal light came on. Goal judge thought that one found its home. Comes back to Brown, top of the circle. Look at him dance. Turns and fires, went wide. Rebound. Karams off the end wall. Now it's down to the corner where it's picked up here by Wald. Brown's back out with it. Brown's going to walk, turns, fires. Nelson was down. Nelson way out of the net. Look out. Brown's on top of him. Nelson's helmet comes off again, and he's laying 2 feet to the left of the blue paint.
Well, the Magicians lucky that time. The puck was laying wide open in between the blue paint and the circle. And they fortunately got it out of there and get a whistle. Looks like the face-off is going to come to the right of Nelson with 25.6 seconds remaining in this first period. If you're just joining us, the Patriots is a 3-0 lead.
Kevin Wilk is going to blow the whistle before the puck drops. Nelson's got an equipment issue. He's working on the right pad. Face off of the blocker side of Nelson. Gerwin Hauser's in on the draw. He stepped up there against Jaden Reimer. The Magi win it back to Thongfett. 20 seconds in the first period. Get ready to cut them down, kids. We're at 18. 17. Thongfett from behind his own net. Taken here by the Patriots. And now it's time to cut them down. We're at 10. Now 9. Hansen from the point. Bangs it off the end wall. Comes back away down to Hunter Cope. And Cope trying to clear the zone. Held in nicely by Hansen. Here's the horn. And at the end of one, it's Bismarck Century on top of Minot High, 3-0 at the end of the first period of play. Noah Grant will have Jordan Willard in just a moment. We'll have his thoughts after the first period of play. Century Patriots scored 12 seconds in. They scored on their very next shot to go up 2-0. Then they got a power play goal. Nick Brown's 26th of the year. Then they had 2 from Schulte. That's goals 8 and 9, points 17 and 18. Nice job for Schulte tonight. Noah Grant is ice level with Jordan Willard.
Nick, tough start for the Magicians, coach, and obviously not the first period you wanted. What needs to change?
Well, I mean, they're a good hockey team. You got to give them some credit. They got some kids that are going. It's West Region semifinal. You know, the play ramps up from last night. It ramps up from regular season. Chance to go to state tonight. You know, I think we just need to take care of, you know, some of the small things. We had some jump there and some go for, you know, about 5-6 minutes there in the middle of the period. But we also need to capitalize on some chances. There's some scoring chances there, and against a team like this, if you don't bury those, you know, it's going to be a tough night.
Yeah, talking about scoring chances, they have 6 scorers in the top 50 in points in the state. They're a well-oiled machine, especially their defensive core. You know, what do you have to watch out for when they're on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, their D are really good. I said it last night, and I'll say it moving forward. They're probably the best D core in the state. They facilitate really well. They love to go DD, leave in the D zone, then go far side. You know, there's opportunities there. Like I said, for a while there in the middle, we got them throwing pucks, and we got them throwing them into bad spots. We just got to capitalize on something.
Thanks for your time. Good luck in the second period.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Nick, definitely not the Bismarck Century team that we expected to be complacent. They came out flying. The chatter on the bench, you know, from Coach Troy Olson is the fundamental play, the little plays, and right now the Patriots, they're better on paper and they're better on the ice right now. They're getting the job done. Back to you.
Absolutely they are. 3-0 at the end of one. First International Bank and Trust intermission report comes up next. Semi-final night to the West Region Tournament. Bismarck High stamped their ticket earlier. Somebody's going to meet them for the title tomorrow. And right now it's Century with a 3-goal lead. Intermission report is next. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
This presentation on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knopp. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. I've had many customers express being frustrated with the P.O. box they once had. They didn't realize they couldn't have packages delivered to their P.O. box. It's why they now have a personal mailbox here at the UPS store. We'll accept the packages for you, and you can pick them up when it's best for you. For a more efficient business, visit us at the UPS store. We're at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
Hello, I'm Steve Funningsland, consumer lender at First Western Bank and Trust and sports enthusiast. Employees at First Western know the importance of teamwork and their day-to-day banking duties to best serve the community. I know the Minot and surrounding area high school and college athletic teams know the importance of teamwork as well. We want to wish all local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this year. Stay safe on the courts, on the fields, on the rinks, and in the gyms. We look forward to watching you succeed. With familiar faces you know, who know you by name, First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This presentation on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank. Watch out for flying pucks and the Zamboni. Let's go back to the press box with Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
12 seconds in tonight, Bismarck Century took the lead. They haven't looked back, 3-0 at the end of one. It's the First International Bank and Trust intermission report. First International Bank and Trust, proud supporter of the Minot community. We have to thank them for their continued support of Minot High Magicians hockey. First International Bank and Trust is a proud member of the Minot community. We stay true to our values by encouraging our staff to spend more time with family. By doing so, we spend more moments living in the moment. Member FDIC, live first. It's the intermission show here on ProStyleProduction.com and on 1390 KRRZ. Nick Hulberg alongside of Larry McFall. Well, you're in a 3-goal cellar right now after Bismarck Century scores early in this one. Your thoughts on that first period of play? Obviously frustrating for the Magi, who certainly I don't believe are being outplayed in this contest by a 3-goal differential. Certainly a frustrating night for Minot High early on in this one.
Well, I don't think, I agree with you. I don't think they're being badly outplayed at all. But what we talked about earlier is you have to rattle Matthew Schmidt, which I think they are doing. They're close to him. They're in his face a little bit down there, so that's working. But you can't give up 2 goals the way that they gave up 2 goals right from the draw at 12 seconds, and then a shot from the top of the circles with nobody in front of the net and in front of the goalie. That's just, for you folks out there listening that have played the game, you're shaking your head going, yeah, because it just deflates you. And then you have to get back going again. I looked across the ice and looked at those Minot coaches' faces after that second goal, and you could just see them go like, oh. You know, you just can't do that. Now you have to fight and try to get back in it. The other thing you can't do that I said at the start of the game is you can't take a bunch of penalties. They've taken 3 already for 6 minutes. That's about a third of the time in the period. And Century buries the power play to make it 3-0. So it's just a really bad period for the Magicians, I think, on the scoreboard. But they did have some moments where they were getting to Schmidt a little bit.
Shots are 16-17 in favor of Bismarck Century. Matt Schmidt 7-7. He made some nice stops there. Nelson fought the puck a little bit early and then kind of settled in a bit, made some saves. That third goal that they scored on him, a backdoor rebound goal, but
yeah, on the power play.
Power play tally. Nick Brown had the first, by the way, his 26th of the year. It was Bailey and Hansen that assisted. Then the second came from Sleddy, his 8th of the year, I believe. Let me double check that number for you, Larry, and make sure that's right. It was actually, the goal came from Schulte, not Sleddy. His 8th of the year was correct, and then he scored his 9th of the year on that power play. Bailey had an assist on the first one, also assisting on the second one. Jacob Paul had one, and the other one went for Alex Samarzik. That's who's got tallies in this hockey game tonight. Nick Brown's a special player, isn't he? He's fun to watch out there, and certainly with 51 points now, we can see why he's in the conversation for the Senior Athlete of the Year for the West Region.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback out there. He makes things happen. He slows the play down. He's patient enough to wait for his teammates to get open. He really has control of what's going on the ice out there. And he's such a big boy. We don't have those rosters anymore nowadays that says height and weight, but he's got to be 6'4", on skates even taller, and he gets things done. Yeah, he's very smooth out there on the ice for Century. And I made a point to watch the defense because both you and Noah said the defense are so good, and so I finally made sure that I watched a lot of the defensive play, and you guys are correct. Those defensemen, they get the puck in their zone and they move it fast. They don't give you very many chances and much time to try to take the puck away from them and do something with it.
Time to talk about what we didn't get a chance to talk about last night, and that's the East region. And boy, there's some shakeups over there when it comes to the coaching side of things. Bill Chase, who's been the head coach of Red River for, I believe, 11 years. He's been in that program since I can remember. A lot longer than 11 years, and Bill Chase no longer with the program. Fargo Davies has two coaches and a head coach that are no longer in the program either after last week. So you look at the 3 and 4 seeds out east and a shakeup at the top of the list with the coaching staffs. Your thoughts overall on this? And I mean, how much can you say and how much is speculation? What do we know about the situation with the head honchos over for Red River and Fargo Davies?
Well, you know, us hockey guys that are around this all the time have our ways of finding out information. And being an ice tech here at the Pepsi rink puts me around the talk every day. And the way it sounds to me is Chase's situation was he was giving a locker room speech to his team, and he did say some things that were pretty inappropriate, and one of the players was recording it on a cell phone. And then when that was shown to the parents that night, the parents reported it to the school, and the school immediately suspended him or took his job away as a hockey coach, and he is still a counselor at a middle school in Grand Forks. But and I did hear some of the things that he said, and it probably wasn't good. It's tough for me coming. I always call myself a 70s boy. Things were different then. What was said today was nothing worse than we ever said in the locker room or ever happened, but then you got to fast forward to 2019 and you just can't do that anymore. The Davies coaches, from what I could attain, is the parents were sending lineups in, saying what the lineup should be and who should be playing, and so-and-so's not getting enough minutes, and they pushed it, and they pushed it, and they took it to the athletic director and said, this is what we should do, this should be the lineup. And then the coaches were told that that's what they're supposed to, that they're going to do, use this lineup. And they wanted to get rid of one of the coaches that wasn't cooperating with this plan, and then all the coaches just said, okay, that's it, we're all walking. So that seemed to be a little bit of a conflict between the parents and the coaching staff, you know, and that just burns me up because a parent shouldn't even talk to a coach all season long. I mean, if your kid goes out for hockey or whatever sport, your kid should be the one communicating with the coaches. If you have a real drastic problem, then the kid should take it to the school and set up a meeting with the coach and the parents and the administration of the school or whatever. But you cannot, in my opinion, have parents sticking their noses in there. It just shouldn't be done. You're a parent. You're not the coach of the team. If you want to be a coach of the team, sign up. And when the job's open, see if you can get the job. But more than likely, a lot of the parents would have no idea what they're talking about. So I just think that's horribly wrong how this society has went in this stuff. In 10 years, there's not going to be any coaches or referees anymore. I just tell you that right now. They're not. Nobody's going to want to coach if they have to put up with this crap all the time. And we hear what the officials go through nowadays in these places. There's no respect anymore to these guys in stripes. If I'd be all of them, I'd quit right now. And I used to do it for 14 years. I reffed high school hockey. Had a few people in the crowd jawing ya, but now, I mean, these guys get phone calls all week long at their jobs on what call they missed in a game. It's just ridiculous. I mean, parents, it's time to zip it up, shut up, sit in the crowd, enjoy watching your kid play, and he's probably not Wayne Gretzky. You might think he is, but he's not. Just enjoy it.
Sounds like a rant I had last year after Minot High didn't make the state high school hockey tournament. I couldn't agree more. And I think if we don't see some of that starting to happen, I think high school hockey might have a shorter life than we think. A lot of talk of that midget stuff coming up, but
can't play without coaches and refs.
That's a conversation for the next period. Magi are back on the ice. We'll come back and face off the second. Magi are down 3-0. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank. They travel together, but in separate vehicles. The voices of Magi Hockey. Here's Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
At the end of one period play, Minot High trailing Bismarck Century 3-0. We'll start off our second period with some insight down ice level with Noah Grant. Noah, what's the mood for both teams heading into the second frame?
The biggest thing for the Magicians is, they need to settle their game now. They need to force the issue back on the Century Patriots and kind of give them a chance to second guess a little bit and see if they can find a quick goal early.
That's Noah Grant, ice level. We sure appreciate him here tonight. Minot High from the right to the left. Left to the right for the Century Patriots. Second period is underway with Minot High as the road team tonight. In those road maroon jerseys, the ones that you remember that they wore when they won the state title in 2015. Bismarck Century, by the way, has been to the state championship game 3 times in their existence. They have 0 banners to show for it. They have been salty a few times in the past years. They have been a solid hockey program, and they're solid again this year. They're up 3-0 at the end of one period as we're underway here in the second. Morelli brought it into the offensive zone, taking away Fillion. Fillion tried to bring it in. The puck got stuck on the water right inside the blue line. Now it's taken here by the Patriots, and they go up to center ice where Bonebreak takes it away and sends it right back in. There's an icing on the Magi. 48 seconds into the second.
We'll see if the Magicians have anything else up their sleeve on how to get the puck into the Century zone a little bit better. They're having a lot of trouble in the neutral zone. They're trying to come in together in lines. I'm waiting for them to really just start doing the dump and chase, Nick, and see if they could start stirring something up.
Sleddy dumps it in behind Odie Nelson. Back behind the cage. Drive comes in. Nelson makes a glove save. Fell out of the mitt. Then he fell on top of it. He'll hang tight. 57 seconds into the second period. Well, Bismarck Century won their first WDA championship of the WDA tournament back in 1996. They then took a 15-year break until 2011. Since that time, they've won it 4 times. Minot High hasn't won it since 2006. Nobody else has won this tournament since that time besides Bismarck High. And Bismarck High is a war machine. You saw what they did tonight. They're waiting the winner of this one. Here's a drive from the line. Minot High offensive zone. It's going to be pushed back up to center ice here by the Patriots. There's Hertz to retrieve it, and he'll just sweep it back into the offensive zone where the Patriots are back with Peyton Sleddy. Up to center ice. Sletty had his pass intercepted there by Gabe Thongfett, and Thongfett whistles it right back in. We're a minute 40 into the second period. Minot High's down 3-0, and on the retrieve behind his own net is Gavin Saylor. He goes out to center ice where Riley Oprood's back to pick it up. Went to his partner Hertz. He's on the near wall. Pushes it off the near side boards, and now it's Stenberg, who scored last night at center ice. Taken away there by Brandon Schaefer. Schaefer launches it right back in behind Nelson. Oprood back on the retrieve. Here's the sophomore D-man. Had his pocket picked by Damon Dixon. Goes back behind Odie Nelson. Sent in front of Nelson. Then it was sticked aside. Comes back underneath the blue paint. And behind the net, Oprood back there scrubbing for it. Drive comes in. The stop from the odd angle shot comes back up to Bailey at the point. Bailey pitched in and sent it down where Oprood handled. Now it goes up to Hansen on the far wall. Stenberg clears it out to center. Now Bailey's on the retrieve as they regroup at neutral ice. Bailey got it ahead forward off to Brandon Schaefer. He dumps it down. Oprood grabs it there, and then he'll launch it the full length of the ice, 200 feet. Is it an icing? They say no. Here come the Patriots trying to clear it out again out of their own end. Over there scrubbing forward is Derwin Hauser. Sent it down underneath the goal line. It's freed here by the Patriots, and Carter Bailey starts the rush back to center again. Here's Big Nick Brown. 51 points on the year. Sent it to the front of the cage. It went wide. It's picked up by the Magicians in their own territory as Nick Murphy sends it around the end boards, around the near wing. Up to Morelli, and Morelli tries to poke it ahead. Morelli was pinned there by Nick Brown. He's probably got a foot on Morelli. Freed the puck. Drive comes from the line. Pen save and a beauty there from Odie Nelson as the puck is cleared up to center ice. Murphy's on the attack. Murphy there with Hauser trying to send it to him. Picked up by the Patriots, and they control back in their own territory. They've got plenty of room to move it partner to partner on the D end with Jacob Paul, but it's taken by Morelli. He intercepts, shot on goal, save, rebound, loose in front. Fillion tried to pound that one home, and the glove save from Matt Schmidt. At the point, unable to hold it in was Cope, and now it's a 2-on-1 to the other end of the ice. Sent in front of Nelson, went wide. Odie's back inside the net. Puck went back up to the far line, held in there. It's Reimer, he sends it down low. Shot went wide and Nelson on the blocker side. It's chipped up the boards on the near wing, and the puck rolls all the way down for an icing.
I'm just so impressed with Matthew Schmidt. Even when he makes a mistake and spits the puck right back out to somebody on a rebound, he comes up with a fantastic save to keep it out. The kid is just so solid down there. Coach Olson blessed to have Matthew Schmidt. He's having an outstanding season.
We talk about Nick Brown on the front side, Matt Schmidt in goal, and then those three defensemen for Century. How good is Nick Brown, you ask? Well, he's currently 4 in all of North Dakota for scorers in North Dakota high school hockey. I take the top dog from Mayville off the list, considering they don't play a full varsity schedule. He leads the way. That's Reese Groth with 71 points. Then you got two kids from Grand Forks Central, Cole Hansen and Luke Canta, 59 for Canta. Hansen's got 56. Nick Brown right behind him with 51 now, but those Central players added more today with that 7-1 win over Red River in the semifinals out east. Puck back for Bailey at his own blue line. Taking it, fired across to the far wing, comes back up to the D-man on the far boards. That was Hertz that was hit hard there. Puck taken by the Magi's deal. He tries to move it ahead forward. Hertz again at the red line. He'll dump it back in behind the net of Schmidt. 12:08 to play in the second period. Minot High down 3-0. At the point, Thongfett takes it and sends it towards the net. It went wide, comes back away out to center. Thongfett's on the retrieve. Brown's on the forecheck. Gets freed by Thongfett. Up top, Rudy sends it forward, and here's Hillman. Hillman, near side half boards. Tried to throw it in front of the net. Boy, was Hillman pounded there by Connor Hansen. Puck comes all the way back out to center for Derwin Hauser. Hillman's back on the retrieve, and Hillman sends it towards the net, but we've got a whistle here, and who will it be on? Eric Steele saw it all the way, and it's on Nick Brown.
Penalty at 5:21. He's calling a slash on Brown, and the Magicians go to the power play.
Penalty has been called at the 5:21 mark of the second period.
Well, here's the power play for the Magi. Patriots without Nick Brown, and the Magicians' power play comes out. You've got Murphy at the point with Riley Oprood. Aiden Morelli's on the wing on the near side. Fillion was the centerman. He won the draw. Feld's the other winger out there for the Magi. Uh-oh. Murphy gave it right onto the tape for Peyton Sleddy, and he launched it 200 feet. When you look back to last year for Century, they went 13-0 in the West Region. They won the West Region tournament. 4 of the top 5 scorers in all of North Dakota. They lost 2 of them this year. One of them was Isaiah Thomas. The other one was Kirkland Irie. Patriots launched at the length of the ice again. Combined between those 2 guys, Larry, between Irie and Thomas last year, they had 157 points.
Yeah, they were an outstanding tandem.
Here's Philly. It sends it in front. Felds all alone in the slot. Couldn't pull the trigger. Held it at the line by Operud. Nice job there. Goes back up to Philly. It sends it down low. Murphy handles underneath the net. Here comes Feld from behind in Gretzky's office. Up. A drive from Murphy. Went off the goaltender into the corner. Back at the point. Operud whistled for the offside with 56 seconds remaining. A power play time on it high, down 3-0.
And I might be wrong, but I believe they're still playing with each other on the same team up in Canada, I believe. I think they're on the same roster, Isaiah and Irie up there.
We'll have to look. I was thinking Irie was a Bismarck Bobcat, but we'll have to take a peek at that. We'll find out by the intermission. Let you know. I've got about 200 notes on this piece of paper and highlighter. As you can see, that's one of them I don't have. Esteban Bruins, I believe, is right. I was thinking Bobcats for the other. We'll have to look into it. Century fans listening at home are shaking their heads saying, come on. Taken and launched all the way down. Bailey clears it out. Odie Nelson's out of the net to play it. Left it a foot off the boards. Back there for Jack Plemmel. Magi power play. 38 seconds remains on it with 10:15 to play in the second. And here come the Magi to center. It's taken by Stenberg. At neutral, he hits the brakes with it. Goes back over to Plemmel. Make that bone break. Bone break had an errant pass, and here comes Hansen shorthanded. Hansen's in. Hansen hooked on the play by Stenberg, and then the penalty will be called. Stenberg will take that one, though.
Yep, that's he had to slash him or try to do something to break his momentum. So Stenberg will go to the box here at the 7:01 mark.
Well, that's probably one you take against Connor Hansen, who's got 26 points on the year.
Yeah, if you're not a real diehard hockey fan and you hear a hockey person say, that was a good penalty, what we mean by that is that's a penalty you pretty much have to take or they're scoring on you. So that, in my opinion, was a good penalty.
Shots are 18-11 Century. They lead 3-0. We're 4-on-4 for the next 18 seconds. After that, Century power play comes back to the ice. Gabe Thongfet's back in his own territory. He's being hounded heavily there. Schulte all over him. He's got a 2-goal night so far tonight for the Patriots. Hansen at center is going to have to regroup. Hauser on top of him with Morelli. And now the Patriots are at full strength. And on the power play for the next minute 35. Whistled around by Bone Break. Did Century have too many guys on the ice? No, they didn't. Comes back away to Nick Brown. Sends it in front of the net. Comes in front for Bailey. Couldn't pull the trigger. Bailey now soccers it to himself. He's hounded by Morelli, and somehow Bailey plays keep away from Aiden Morelli. Back at the point. Hansen sends it in. Blocker save. Loose in front. Morelli with the big berth. The driver sends that one to the other end of the ice. Out to play it was Matt Schmidt. Gerwin Hauser causing trouble there. Hauser knocked the glove off the hand of Austin Wald, and it comes back up to center ice now for Nick Brown as the Patriots clear out. Brown's in. Brown crushes towards the net. Poke check there from Odin Nelson, and the puck is sent the length of the ice again by the Magi. Penalty kill. 45 seconds remains on the extra attacker situation here for the Patriots. They've got one power play goal tonight. 9th goal of the year for Colton Schulte. Up to center and then into the offensive zone. Samar Zick is down low. He's hit hard by Ben Bonebrink on the near wall. Right side of the radio dial. Near point across to the far point. Goes away there to Sleddy. Down the near side. Trying to get a hold of that one was Schulte for the hat trick. Lost a handle on it. Schulte's got it back. Where's the clear eye-tech mask? Sent to the point. Sleddy's got it. Fires. Odie Nelson hangs tight to it. And Odin gloves it. Face-off will come to his blocker side with 8:09 to play. Here in the second, Noah Grant is ice level. Noah, what do you have for us on the bench?
Nick, not a lot of zone time for the Magicians, and when they do have zone time, the puck's been on the perimeter. On the flip side, the Century Patriots possessing the puck well, and this formula for success won't be successful for the Magicians if they can't find a way to break through this Patriots D.
Well, that's been our key for the entire night tonight. Certainly not easy to do it on the penalty kill either, which the Magicians are successful on now. They're at full strength. Is out of the box is Stenberg. Man, Stenberg lit up Sleddy. That could have been a charging call. Sleddy felt the heat there from...
Or maybe interference. The puck was nowhere near.
Stenberg came racing out of the box. Through the wood to him. Here comes the Magicians. Trying to move it out was Plebel. Nice job holding the zone from Brandon Schaefer. Right back in with it. Here come the Patriots. Reimer's got it. Hits the brakes near wall. He's hit there by Hertz. Pushed ahead. Stenberg in a foot race back into the offensive zone with Gavin Saylor. Saylor wins the race and sends it around to Nick Brown. Back underneath the net where Saylor handles again. He's going to go back over to Nick Murphy. To Nick Brown. Underneath the goal line now. 7:08 to play in the second. Minot High down by 3. 9 more shots on goal for the Patriots tonight. 20-11 is the shot total. Sleddy up to center. Pushes it forward to Schoenberg. Schoenberg enters the zone. He's met there by 2 Magicians. Somehow Brown's out with it. He pushes it down to the corner. Wald's down low. Out with it comes Austin Wald. Shot there from Bailey, and the stick save was made from Odie Nelson. Now Riley Oprud's back to center ice. And the drive comes in. There's a player hurt on the near wall for the Patriots.
Well, they waited a long time. He's been down for quite some time. It looks like his shoulder. And I don't know why. This is high school hockey. You're supposed to blow the whistle immediately, not wait for possession, and he is hurting. Certainly looks like a shoulder to Carter Schoenberg. And you are correct. Mr. Irie is on the Bismarck Bobcat roster, by the way. I was wrong again.
Thought he was. Any idea how good of a year he's having for the Bobcats?
I'll find that out for you.
I think if you click his name possibly, you'll be able to, maybe he'll pull the stats up. Troy Olson was not happy with the delayed call there as Carter Schoenberg laid on the ice for quite some time. He had a trip right down the tunnel to the Trinity Sports Medicine room. Here's Nick Brown back in, turns it and fires it right off the mask. Odie Nelson. Nelson tried to throw his helmet off again. He's arguing with the referee here. And Nelson now puts a stop to the play. That strap came off for Nelson on the helmet. So a stop in the play, and the faceoff will come back out to center ice.
Kirkland Irie so far this year in the 18-19 regular season has played in 40 games. He has 6 goals, 9 assists for 15 points. So if anything, that shows you how much tougher it is to play in the NHL juniors than North Dakota high school hockey, because he's scrapping for points now. It's not that easy when you get up to the next level.
Bailey's back in his own zone to retrieve. We're at 6:09 to play here in the second. 3-0 Patriots. Nelson's out of the net to play it. Wraps it off the glass. Tried to set it up to Nick Murphy. Got past him and at center. Bailey sends it right back in with the glove. Nelson hangs on to it. Just under 6 to play in the second. Patriots still lead 3-0.
Face off coming to the left of Odie Nelson. Yeah, Minot still trying to get stuff done in the neutral zone to bring it into the Century zone, and I think they're just going to have to really dump and chase that puck. The Century defense is right there at the blue line saying no entry allowed.
By the way, Isaiah Thomas playing for the Estevan Bruins this year, the 18-year-old in 52 games played for them. He's got 22 points on the season. Here's a drive and a goal. Top shelf went off the glove of Odie Nelson and into the back of the net. And Crew Walker's on the board. That's his 4th of the year.
11:08 will be the time of this goal. And the Magicians are digging a hole that they are not going to be able to get out of against the Patriots.
Off the shoulder of...
Got 18 from 8 on that one, Nick.
Off the shoulder of Odie Nelson, and it's a 4-0 game.
Cullen curl from Alex Marsden.
Skater number 18, Cullen Curl.
Bucked up did back into the Century zone and on the retrieve back behind the net.
That's 18 from 8. Even strength goal, 11:08.
Puck goes up to center ice. There's a scrum back in the Century end. Who is that down there? It's Locke along with 10. That's Crew Walker. They're both going to the box. Well, when you talk about last year, and you talk about a guy like Isaiah Thomas, who's lighting it up there in Estevan and having a good season. Thomas last year had 8 goals in the WDA tournament, and that's pretty impressive. 22 points this year in the SJHL. See why he was one of the best last year. Continues what he's doing now.
Sorry, I'm laughing. Luck tried to sneak to the bench. Got on the bench. You knew he was going to come to the box. They had to go get him. Who, me? Pops off the bench now, comes over to the penalty box to feel some shame. Coincidental penalties, we stay 5-on-5.
Face-off at center ice. Stenberg's in on the draw against Nick Brown. Face-off won by Brown, and it's pushed ahead forward. Here comes Colin Schulte. Now Thogfett to head forward, walks over center, and dumps it in. Bailey hammers around the end boards.
On Century, 11:28.
Century and Bismarck High matched up twice this year. Both games went to extra minutes. One of them went to a shootout. High won the first one, 1-0. Then it was Century that won the second one, 4-3 in a shootout. At this point in the hockey game, you can almost stamp it that those two teams are going to play tomorrow for a West Region title. And Minot High will have a date with Jamestown unless they can find a way to come back in this one. Under 5 to play here in the second. Brown behind the net, sends it in front of Nelson, comes back away here to Hertz, and Hertz handles here. Half boards, defensive zone, back to the point, slap shot coming, bouncer hit traffic, and Sleddy sent it around the end wall, away to the near side wing. Thogfett trying to clear it, down in on the attack is Schaefer. Schaefer worked it back. Here's a drive and a glove save. That one from David Dixon into the catching mid of Odie Nelson. Face-off will be on the glove side of the senior net keeper. Having a conversation with Eric Steele is Odie Nelson. Nothing but smiles there.
Well, that's Eric Steele smiling at Eric Harmelin and Andy Carton and all the referees, pounding on the glass, giving him a hard time. I didn't see what Steele did, but he was getting roasted by the 6 officials behind the net.
Out to center ice, here comes Hillman. He's going to push it ahead forward. Sleddy delivers it ahead, taken there and dumped right back in by Josh Strady for the Magi. Out to center ice, it's Hunter Culp that soccers it ahead forward, taken away by Sleddy. And Sleddy, the D-man's going to carry it into Magi territory. Offside's a call, 3:56 to play in the second. Minot High down 4-0.
Magicians having a terrible time trying to get any zone time down in front of Schmidt. I wanted him to get close to him and rattle him. They can't even get it in the zone. So Magicians struggling still with 3:56 remaining in the second.
Billy is in on the draw. He goes up against Brown. Tied up right outside of the Century blue line. It comes back in front of the net. Morelli takes it away, and here comes Aiden Morelli. He's got the burners on, but so did 28 on the other side. Wald took it from Morelli, but the Magi have it back on the attack down low. Underneath the net it comes, and now it's the real estate. Sleddy handles here, and Sleddy chips it up off the glass, trying to move it ahead forward. Fancy move there from Wald, and he gets it up to center ice. He's into the Magi zone now, where he's met by Bonebreak. The hit was there, make that Philly instead 10-18. Chipped ahead forward by Riley Opperud. On the attack is Morelli. Puck taken here by Bonebreak. He shot it right into Morelli, and then Morelli's going to flip this one up to center ice. 3:09 to play here in the second. 4-0. Century on top of Minot High. Shots are 23-11. Bonebreak's in. Half wall. Left side of the radio dial. Taken here by the Patriots. Look out right in the face.
To the face.
Bonebreak took one. That was like Tyson and Holyfield. And if they're taking both of them, that's a shame. I don't think Bonebreak should be going to the box here.
Bonebreak didn't do anything. They ran into each other on the boards, and then the Patriot took a punch to his face, and I guess Bonebreak is guilty by association.
Well, that's Austin Wald that's in the box along with Bonebreak. We'll stay at 5-on-5. I mean, that was like 1993 Mike Tyson giving it to Bonebreak. He hit him right in the butt, and lucky he had the helmet on.
And Bonebreak did a good job just skating away instead of trying to, retaliate, and he still ends up in the sin bin.
Well, regardless, Minot High's down 4-0. Starting to become a bit chippy here tonight. Hunter Cope pushes it out to center ice. Luck moves it ahead. Offensive zone for the Magi. Knutson on the attack here for the Magicians. It's held in there by Isaiah Thongfett. Look out, that puck rifled up off the glass. It would have came right up to us if the plexi wasn't in the way. Drady moves it back ahead. Out of the tape here it comes for Hunter Cope. He carries it into the offensive zone. Down it comes. Cope's back in behind the cage. Back in behind the net. 2:12 to play here in the second. 4-0 Minot High down in this one. Taken by Stenberg at the point. He rifles it around the end boards. Comes up to Drady. Sends it ahead. Back at the point. Hunter Cope has it. Sends it in. He fires and Cope has scored. It's 4-1 as Hunter Cope buries the biscuit for his first goal of the year at a prime time.
That goal comes at 15:01 and gives the Magicians a little life. It rattled off some legs and popped out to the top of the circles in the slot area, and Cope just fired it, and somehow it got past all the legs and bodies and into the net, and he'll get the assist on that from Josh Drady. The 19 Cope from Drady.
Cope's first of the year, Drady's first assist. Back in with it, here come the Patriots. Nice defensive job there from Hertz. Got in the way of that one, and now Plemmel on the attack, moving ahead forward. Well, the place has some life to it now, doesn't it? And energy inside the venue on the Magicians' home ice. They're down by 3. It's 4-1 with 1:30 left here in the second period.
We saw a big comeback earlier this year against Bismarck High.
Here's Plemmel with an offensive zone. Plemmel's back, wraps it around, sits in front of the drive, save, rebound. Oh, Schmidt! Highway robbery on Mason Deal. It was almost a 2-goal game.
Oh, Schmidt down on his stomach, makes the save. Robs him. Dial up security.
Absolutely.
The Magicians got robbed.
That was in plain sight, too. That would have been Mason Deal's 10th goal of the year. Matt Schmidt showing why those numbers are true. Nice night for him tonight in the blue paint for Century. Still 4-1 with 1:19 left. Nick Murphy, center slot, tried to throw it towards the front of the net. Hansen tried to clear the zone for the Patriots. Couldn't, comes up to the line, held in there. Fillion's got it back, and Fillion's going to dance in. Fillion, front of the net. Fillion, backhand drive, save. Oh, Schmidt robbed Fillion again with the glove.
Oh, my.
Puck comes back away now to Brown, and Brown's out to center ice with it. Under a minute to play in the period.
Second period, 1 minute.
Sent in front of the Minot High goal, goes back over to Brown. Nick Brown down low, met there by Oprud. Oh no, Oprud took one in the chin. He immediately drops the glove. It's a high stick. Interference will be the call, and Riley Oprud grabbing the chin or the throat. He's going right over to the trainer into the sin bin. On the interference
will be the call. At 16-14.
Well, Riley Oprud went right to the bench. Power play comes back out.
That's 2 minutes interference. Skater number 28 for Bismarck. 16.
If the Magicians could get a power play goal right here in the last 46 seconds, it would be delicious for Magician fans.
Handled here by Hillman, offensive zone. He's out there along with Deal. You've got Plemmel at the point along with Nick Murphy. Handled down by Hilbert, top of the circle, blocker side, drops it down at the half boards. It's Deal, no look pass up to Murphy, now across to Plebble, sends it in, stick save and a can of corn there for Schmidt. 20 seconds to play in the period. Murphy from the line, whistled one in. That was kind of a choppy one. Goes back over to Nick Brown, and Brown's going to launch this one 200 feet right in on Odie Nelson. Nelson out to play it. Fires it up to center, cut him down. Kids were at 7, now 6-5. Here goes Stenberg across the blue line. He's hauled up on the play, and at the end of the period, it's 4-1 in favor of Bismarck Century. Noah Grant's going to be ice level with Jordan Willard in just a moment. Shots are 23-15. The difference in this one is the first period where the Magicians surrendered their first 2 goals against on the first 2 shots of the game. They gave up 3 on 13. And Minot High is down 4-1. Noah Grant is ice level with Coach Jordan Willard. Let's see if his mood has changed between the first and the second.
Jordan, obviously a second period that ended in a tie. The Magi don't have a lot of possession time, though. Is that a result of you guys kind of gripping the sticks too hard, or something the Patriots are doing?
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both. Again, like I said in the first period, they're a good hockey team. They come. I thought there in the last about, 5-6 minutes, we found a little something. Some kids started playing, instead of playing a little bit tentative, they started to be hard to play against. And, it was good to see. Got it to 4-1. Could have probably had 4-2 there. Goalie made a pretty good save. We just got to keep working, got to keep getting pucks to the net.
Yeah, definitely 20 minutes left. And talking about momentum shifts, Hunter Cope, not a guy that you might expect to get offense from. How big of a confidence boost is that late goal?
Yeah, Hunter's been playing very well for us this weekend on the back end. It's a kid that hasn't played D a ton, and we asked him to step in and do a job for us, and he's been doing really well. I asked him there, I said, was that an 8-iron? Because his hands were pretty close to a rolling puck, but he found a way to the back of the net. When you work hard, good things happen for you, and it was good to see. The bench kind of got up a little bit, and that's kind of when we started to take over there just a little bit. So hopefully we can build on that.
Thanks for your time. Best of luck in the third period.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Back to you, Nick.
Sure appreciate you. That's Noah Grant, Jordan Willard, ice level. 1-1 tie in the second, 3 in the first for Century. However, we're at 4-1 with 17 minutes to play. Region semifinal night. We'll come back with this First International Bank and Trust intermission report. Talk more hockey. We'll have the stats and the recap. Maybe we'll play Stump Stonewall here tonight. 4-1 at the end of 2. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
This presentation on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knopp. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. I've had many customers express being frustrated with the P.O. box they once had. They didn't realize they couldn't have packages delivered to their P.O. box. It's why they now have a personal mailbox here at the UPS store. We'll accept the packages for you, and you can pick them up when it's best for you. For a more efficient business, visit us at the UPS store. We're at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
Hello, I'm Steve Funningsland, consumer lender at First Western Bank and Trust and sports enthusiast. Employees at First Western know the importance of teamwork and their day-to-day banking duties to best serve the community. I know the Minot and surrounding area high school and college athletic teams know the importance of teamwork as well. We want to wish all local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this year. Stay safe on the courts, on the fields, on the rinks, and in the gyms. We look forward to watching you succeed. With familiar faces you know, who know you by name, First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This presentation on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Libetto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank. It's time for the First International Bank and Trust Intermission Report. First International has you covered. Let's go back to the press box for the stats, analysis, and everything else Magi hockey.
Entertaining second frame. Deadlocked in the second with the 3-seed Minot High and the number 2-seed Century. But the first period, the Achilles heel right now for the Magi and the start that they had. They trailed 4-1. Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall for our first International Bank and Trust intermission report. First International Bank and Trust, proud member of the Minot community. We stay true to our values by encouraging our staff to spend more time with family. By doing so, we spend more moments living in the moment. Member FDIC, live first. Before we jump into the stats of this one, former Minot magician Mason Morelli is up for the 2019 Hobie Baker Award. Head online now and place your fan vote for the hometown Minot product and current captain of the UNO Mavericks. It would be pretty fantastic if a player from the West region, and anybody from North Dakota for that matter, would be named the 2019 Hobie Baker Award winner. You can head online and help that cause by voting for Mason Morelli in the fan vote. Again, just head to hobiebaker.com and vote for Minot's Mason Morelli. Just a fantastic kid, fantastic human being. Great hockey player, too, obviously on the list of Hobie Baker nominees here for 2019. hobiebaker.com. Fan vote. Choose Mason Morelli, and let's help Minot's Mason Morelli be in that top 10 for Hobie Baker finalists for 2019. Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall here in the press box at Pepsi Rink. Beautiful venue for the West Region Hockey Tournament. This is the tops in the state for region tournament play in my mind. It's the next level venue. It's home to the MSU Beavers and, of course, the Minot Minotauros, the North American League. Larry, before we talk stats of this one, your thoughts overall on the tournament? You have a huge role in this facility as one of the managers here. You're in charge of the ice surface. How great is it having this tournament here at the Pepsi Rink? And what do you think the Pepsi Rink does for this tournament compared to some of the other venues in Western North Dakota?
Well, first off, as an employee, we're very happy to host you guys and everybody that comes to the tournament. We're pretty proud of this facility, and we think it is top-notch. And we also feel that our ice crew and our maintenance crew and everything here under the direction of Bob Gillen, Darryl Fry, and myself is second to none. And I've heard so much from all the coaches here. In fact, they had a meeting last night, and their main goal as a coaching group is to try to get the state tournament here, and also to try to maybe get the West Region here every year on a regular basis. So the coaches of all these teams are pretty impressed, and anybody that walks in this facility will agree. Outside of the Ralph Engelstad Arena and possibly the Shields Arena in Fargo, this is by far one of the nicest rinks in the state. So we're happy to host it. We have the equipment to make it go right. We have a state-of-the-art plant that's been keeping this floor in between 17.4 and 19 degrees the whole tournament. And we've put a lot of hot water floods people don't realize that the water's 160 degrees, and you're putting it on a 16, 17 degree sheet. That can raise that up pretty high. But the equipment that we have here in the plant keeps the freezes fast, keeps it cold, and you put all that together and you have an outstanding playing surface for everybody all day long, where some venues I've went to, if you're playing in the fourth game, good luck. You don't know what to expect when that ice has been used all day long, but we're pretty proud that this one is held up as good as it has.
Yeah, no knock on the VFW Sports Center. Of course, that's one of my favorite rinks of all time, with the time I spent there with the Bismarck Bobcats in the North American League for 4 years. And any time that you get an opportunity to see Bismarck High and Bismarck Century in the VFW Sports Center, that's a sold-out show, man. I mean, that place is absolutely fantastic as well. There's great sight lines. It's just this Mesa Arena with the extra amenities that it has, the hospitality room, the community room, the player entrance off the side where you don't have to walk your way through the lobby, through all the fans. You pull the bus up right to the door. I mean, just overall, I think this place certainly is a great venue to host the place. And nice job to you guys and your staff that have done a fantastic job throughout the tournament here again this week.
Yeah, well, thank you. And you just hit on one of the main things is the bus entrance, and for the referees also. Other rinks, the referees have to leave through the crowd, and sometimes, believe it or not, the crowd sits and waits for them so they can get their last word in. And I remember one time Rob and I doing the regional tournament down there on the radio, and I remember Minot High losing a heartbreaker, and those players had to walk through that lobby with their bags to go outside and just getting ripped by the opposing team fans. And here at Mesa, you don't even have to see a fan if you don't want to. You go to the locker room, you play your game, you're right back out the hallway downstairs onto the bus. You don't have to worry about those altercations, and I think that is a major deal that's nice. It almost gives it the professional feeling, like the big college and pros that have entrances to where they never have to see the people. Kind of gives you that feel when you come here.
Yeah, that reminds me of the story of the 1998 West Region Tournament when you were Raz and the Devil's Lake goaltender. And
that would be 97.
Oh, 97,
yeah.
Yes. That's a story for after you give us the
Great
stats
story
from the period. Let's see if we can get to it.
No, that story would take 29 minutes to even come close to telling.
Well, and after Stump Stonewall last night, if you didn't listen last night, if you're a fan of the Century Patriots and you didn't listen to the broadcast last night, Minot High against Mandan, we play a little game called Stump Stonewall. Larry McFall, my broadcast partner, has been with the Magicians for 44 years. He was a goaltender on the first ever team, and he's been involved ever since. And we play a little game called Stump Stonewall, and basically Larry had the information on some of the players from 1981 and 82. I asked him these questions, Jeopardy style, to see if he could answer them. He even knew the record from the 1981-82 Minot Magicians hockey team. That was unbelievable that you knew the exact record of the club. And then to take it another step further, we went to the 90s. In 1995, you knew what the record was there. You knew the players on that club, and you knew who they played the last game of the season at the state tournament, what the score was. That was unbelievable.
Well, let's just say I read a lot of programs. I take a look at a lot of the roster sheets, and I've been there long enough to kind of memorize some of that stuff, but not what's happened lately. The last 5 years is brutal. Here's what happened in the second period as far as goals go. Cullen Curl scored at 11:08 on an assist from Alex Smartzik to make the score 4-0 for Bismarck Century. And then Hunter Cope at 15:01 gets Minot on the board on an assist from Josh Strady, and that makes the score 4-1. Penalties so far, 7 on Century for 14 minutes, 6 on Minot. They had 10 that first game. I said that's too many, and they're almost doing it again. They're taking too many penalties. It's really going to start hurting them here, I believe. Matthew Schmidt, 7 saves in the first, 7 in the second, for a game total so far of 14 out of 15 shots. Odie Nelson, 13 saves in the first, 6 in the second, for a 2-period total of 19 saves as we head to the third period. And Bismarck Century playing the waiting game. Here they come.
Minot High out shooting Century in the second period. 1-1 the score. In that second, like you mentioned.
I know there's going to be a lot of people upset that we're not playing Stub Stonewall. Also want to say hi to Lane Johnson checking in from Blaine, Minnesota. My son Lane down there listening to Magician Hockey. I know last night Mike Kramer from Forest Lake was listening. And glad to have you guys on board. Lane, looking forward to seeing you at least very briefly in a couple of weekends as we come down there for the Kiss concert. Nice to hear from him.
Lane Johnson in some of the goaltender categories all time at Minot High, still in the top 10. Back in 2002, 2003, 2001 to 2003 actually. Lane was definitely solid in the goal paint for the Magi. Third period just about set. It's upon us as AC/DC Thunderstruck blares inside the venue.
What?
That's right. Matt Schmidt on the right side. Century in the home whites moving from the right to the left. Minot High will go from the left to the right in the Road Maroons. Filling it in on the draw against Nick Brown. We're underway. And off the draw, it's Century that takes it in. Brown turns it up, trying to pick the top corner on the glove side. Century shorthanded for 1:04 to start the third, by the way. Taken here by Bailey UFO. This one all the way the length of the ice down to the left of Odie Nelson. He's out to play it back where Nick Murphy handles it. And then Odie Nelson put the body into Nick Brown, didn't he? Look out. No call to play. Puck comes back up to center ice. And away to Fillion, and Fillion handles. He's going to carry it in. Fillion on the power play, hits the break, spins to the wall, far side. Met there by Brown underneath the goal line. Morelli's down low, took it away there from Carter Bailey back at the point. Here's Opperud sent it towards the net, went wide. Goofy carom off the end wall, came up to Morelli. Now Murphy sent it back over to Morelli, but it's taken here by Hansen. And Hansen with the pitchfork throws that one out the length of the ice, and back on the retrieve is Opperud. By the way, we'll have the region title game tomorrow afternoon, regardless, on ProStyleProduction.com, whether that's Minot or Century in that game. And we'll have Minot on the radio as well tomorrow and at ProStyleProduction.com. Century back to full strength. So meaning if Minot High doesn't make the region title game tomorrow, we will have Bismarck Century and Bismarck High on ProStyle Productions radio broadcast feed for you. If you're in Bismarck, please share the word on your Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook as well. Odie Nelson out of the net to play it. Couldn't stop it behind the cage. Nelson having a pushing match right in front of the net. Now Thongfet's going to be whistled here as he got into it there with Samarzik, and Thongfet's going to the sin bin on a 2-minute roughing call.
You know, that's a blown opportunity for the Magicians. They had that power play, and they really needed to score on that, and now they take their 7th penalty of the night, and now they'll be shorthanded. And we still go back to that very first meeting this year where the Magicians had 10 penalties and just couldn't recover from that. Tonight it was 2 goals on the first 2 shots, and now a busload of penalties to boot.
That's 2 minutes interference for Minot.
Hansen handles at the blue line. Dropped it back, Hansen, stick handling, brought it back over down to Bailey, near side, top of the circle. He goes over to the far side, skates it through, fires that one wide of the blue paint of Nelson. 2 minutes into the third as Nick Brown handles here. One-timer, Bailey sends it in and a pad save. Taken by the Magi, pushed off the glass, too far in front of Stenberg, but he's one-man aggressive on the attack. Stenberg back in behind the Century net, but Bailey took it from him. Out to center ice, Nick Brown back in with it. 46 points last year for Brown. Whistles that one up and over the head of Nelson. Now the Magi push it out the length of the ice again. And Matt Schmidt plays it away. Stenberg took it there, but Stenberg couldn't handle on it. Goes back away to Hansen, up to Bailey. And now Bailey across center to Sleddy. Sleddy's into the offensive zone. Makes a move onto the forehand. Shot comes in. Nelson makes the pad save, and down low it's taken here by the Patriots underneath the goal line. Sent in front, Odie Nelson gloves it and hangs tight.
Nice reaction by Odie. Had his stick down on the ice, stopped the centering pass, popped it straight up in the air and nabbed it with his glove. Nelson has shown signs of vast improvement here during the second period. After a fairly shaky start, He's made some pretty big saves tonight, though, as well.
Well, it's just bottom line. It's unfortunate to say it, but at a varsity level in a game like this, I will say it, 4 goals against on 25 shots. You're not going to win games. You can't win games when you give up 4 in a semifinal matchup, and we've seen that in the past. Minot High takes it away. Now Fillion's in, turns and fires. Oh, speaking of which, on the other end, that was good old-fashioned Paddywaw playoffs 93 Montreal Canadiens into the splits. And Matt Schmidt says, I don't think so.
Boy, he is so good. And he had his angle cut down there so well. He didn't give Fillion very much to shoot at. He snagged it with his glove, and he gets the face-off to his right.
That would have been Fillion's 27th point of the year. He's got it back, and Fillion doing some good things for the Magicians here on the penalty kill. Had a great opportunity. The Lashy goes.
Yeah, he was a magician down there, picking the pocket twice.
My goodness. Way to the near side wing and pushed out to center. Nick Brown's going to cross back over to Magi territory. Takes it down, fires. Nelson made the save. He's tied up with Nick Brown right in front of the Magi. Magi cage. Minot High is going to have Thongfett coming out of the box in 2 seconds. They're full strength.
Good kill by the Magicians.
Back in behind the net, Curl. Down there against Fillion. They scrum for it. Puck comes out to Wald. Back at the point. Bailey sends it in. That one pushed to the corner. We're 4 minutes into the third period. Minot High's down 4-1. Up to the point. Bailey holds it in. Far wall back to Hansen near point. Sends it on a tee. And a broken stick from Hansen at the blue line. Back behind Odin Nelson. Puck is tied up here by the Magi. Trying to clear it out are the Magicians. They do now. High up off the glass. Opperud sends it the full 200.
Good penalty kill there that time by the Magicians, and now they just have to try to dig and get their second goal within the next couple minutes. They can cut this to 2 goals with still about 10 minutes left. They might be in business, but they really need to get one here real soon.
Ryan Wilkie always talked about chunking it. They need 3 goals. They got 12 minutes to do it. You need 1 every 4 minutes if you do the math. Basically what you're saying. They got to hope that Century doesn't pop one again. And Century's a team that's outscored their opponents on the year 129-29. So they certainly could score some goals, can't they? They've outshot their opponents 790-357. Those are big numbers from the Patriots, who are arguably the best team in the West region. They played the top gun of the state. That was Grand Forks Central just about a week ago. They lost the Grand Paradica's Grand Forks Central Knights, who are undefeated. They only lost to them 3-1. Bismarck High played the same Central team. They didn't have as good a luck. I believe it was 8 or 10-1 of that contest. Back at center ice, Sleddy handles here for the Patriots. He'll dump it down in behind Odin Nelson, and Nelson leaves it behind the net for Hunter Cope. He's got his first goal in his varsity season tonight. That's the only goal for the Magi. Back into the offensive zone. It's pushed ahead. This is Knudsen. Sends it in and just wide. Don't hear a whole lot from Dawson Knudsen, but he fired one up on a hard forecheck there. Back to center ice. Colton Schulte walks it across. Schulte's got 2 tonight. Bailey's back on the retrieve in his own territory, being hounded by Mason Deal, who's been held off the score sheet after a 2-point night last night. Thongfett trying to move it ahead forward. Back off to Stenberg. Goes back up to center ice, taken by Plemmel. He'll dump it back in behind Matt Schmidt. Great crowd on hand tonight here at Pepsi Rink for the final game of day number 2 of the West Region Tournament. 8 teams came in, 2 have been eliminated. Williston and Bottineau are done. Mandan and Dickinson tomorrow for the state qualifier. Jamestown awaits the loser of this one. Up to center ice from Hertz to Plemmel. Near wall, dumped down into the corner, right side of the radio dial. It lays down there for Hansen. He moves it back out to center for Austin Wald. Getting it there was Hertz. He goes back off the glass and back into Stenberg, who dumps it into the zone. Big hit from Hillman on Bailey behind the net, and it's freed now away on the far wall to Crew Walker. Back in the Patriot defensive territory. This puck is launched up to center ice, falls at center for Derwin Hauser. Comes back out of the tape for Hertz in his own territory, and Hertz delivers back away to Thongfett. Goes back to Hertz near wing. Hertz tries to chip it up and out. He does. And back on the retrieve in his own territory is Peyton Sleddy. Off to Crew Walker. He'll dump it in to the Magi defensive zone. Nelson was out of the net to play it. Magicians went for a change. Created real estate there to clear the zone. But Nick Brown takes it away at center after he was whacked hard on the ankle from Hillman, wasn't he? My goodness. Now taken here by Oproot. He'll fire it in. Schmidt just sweeps that one back in behind the net for his decor to go to work. It's Sleddy there. Held in at the line. Nice play, Hauser. Hauser tries to walk it across. He's hit, and we're going to have a penalty coming here. And a power play coming for the Magi.
Yeah, it was away from the play with Hauser. It was closer to us here. They whistled number 21, I believe, for an interference call. Also, I think I forgot to mention the final from the East. Grand Forks Central did beat Red River 7-1. Outshot them 39-16. And it's Fargo South and Fargo Davies battling right now.
South and Davies, that could be a good matchup. Philly in offensive zone behind the net. Pinned up on the blocker's side. Fillion looks for the outlet. Morelli's calling for it, center slot. Now Fillion goes to the top of the circle, far side. This is a huge power play for the Magi. Minute 49, out on the extra attacker with 9:27 to play. Here in the third, Minot High's down by 3 as Murphy will hold the zone on the clear attempt there from Connor Hansen. On the near half wall, it comes down to Morelli. Team's goal leader comes to the point. One-timer there from Oproot. Diving in front of that one was Cullen Curl. And then Oproot gets it back and fires it into the catching mitt of Matt Schmidt. Schmidt has been rock solid here tonight. Noah Grant is ice level.
Nick, the story of the game so far definitely has been execution and puck possession. The Magi haven't been able to execute when they've been in grade A chances, and the Patriots have controlled the puck for most of the night, and they've shown why they're a powerhouse in North Dakota hockey.
Noah Grant is in between the benches here tonight. Getting comfy down there with Troy Olson's team, the Century Patriots. There's no glass on that side of the press box, if you will, that's ice level. He's right in the mix. Fired in from the other end of the ice. On Odin Nelson, that one from the Patriots blue line there from Peyton Sleddy. Magi are recovering back in their own territory with Thongfen. He's going to be pressured here by Curl. Thongfen short-handed are the Patriots. They cough up the puck to the Magi. It's going to come back up to Deal, and Deal works it back into his own territory. Back in Minot High defensive territory. It comes now back up to Thongfen, up to Sleddy. He dumps it back in, and Bonebrake moves it back up to center ice, and it's shuffled ahead there by the Magicians as Plemmel handles on the near wing. Plemmel, he's tripped to the play, and Minot High's go to a 5-on-3, Larry, for 27 seconds here with 8:07 to play in the third, down 4-1.
Plemmel now gets an unsportsmanlike as he was jawing with the guy that tripped him, and now they gain nothing.
Plemmel's got to be better than that. Hands down, you have to be smarter than that.
Yep, that hurt.
Region semi-final night, 8:07 to play in the third. You're down 4-1. You draw a penalty to go on a 5-on-3, and then you take one of your own.
Unbelievable. So you want to say hi to Sheldon Syme, former Monitor that's been down in Bismarck Mandan now for quite some time. He's done a lot of work with the youth program in Bismarck. Listening tonight on ProStyleProduction.com.
Well, there's a conversation at the bench now with Dwight Mack and Eric Steele talking to John Grubb on what's going to come of this penalty to Plemmel.
Skater number 12, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike. Bismarck Century, skater number 4, 2
So
minutes
they erase each other. 21 seconds remains on the power play, like you had thought. Unfortunate situation there for the Magi. Up to center ice, shorthanded. Schulte looking for the hat trick, sends it towards Nelson. It went wide. 11 seconds remains on the power play, and in the box is Jacob Paul. Here for the Patriots as it comes back up to center for Connor Hansen. The Patriots will now be full strength.
Century full strength, 5-on-5.
Taken here by Bailey, back up to center. Paul back in with it. Drop down, Schulte for the hat trick. Tried to move it in front to Nick Brown. Taken away there by Oprud. Here comes Riley Oprud, flipping it out to center. Hansen took it away. He's going to step in with it. Hansen, top of the circle, fires off the glove of Nelson. Then it hit the crossbar. Top of the circle shot again off the glove of Nelson. 4-1 still. Got some help from the red goal pipe. Bailey back in his own territory and up to center ice. It's taken here by Gavin Saylor. Chipped into the Magi zone, then right back out. Another retrieve is Isaiah Thogfen will let it go here for Riley Oprud. Under 7 to play in the third. Minot High looks to be having a date tomorrow with Jamestown in a must-win situation to go to the state high school hockey tournament. If they don't, that will be 2 years in a row that they do not qualify. Meanwhile, Century tried to make it 21 straight. State appearances, 13 straight appearances. It'd be their 21st all time. Century, by the way, has a 12-year streak going back all the way to 2006. They've been there 20 times.
Boy, Minot still having such a trouble, Nick, coming through the neutral zone, trying to get down into the Patriot zone. They're just going to have to start dumping and chasing. There we go. Thongfett dumps it.
6:10 to play here in the third period. Back on the retrieve for the Patriots in their own end. The puck pushed away to the near wall. Drady pitches in and holds it. Now Hillman does the same, and he'll dump it back in behind Matt Schmidt. Puck wrapped around the near side boards, and the Patriots are going to push out to center. Feld got a handle on it. He pushed it in, Minot High had to touch up on the onside. Back up to Hunter Cope in the neutral ice zone. He's got the game's only goal for the Magicians. Feld dumps it in and moves it to the corner. Now it's going to be moved back up to center ice. Gabe Thogfett to the near wing, trying to go back over to Hauser. Taken here, and it's chipped ahead forward by Gavin Saylor. It's a ping-pong match at the top of the circle in the Patriot D zone. Right to the neutral ice zone. They went back and forth, and now the Magi looking for control of the offensive zone. It's Hillman fires it on. Waffle board save there from Schmidt. And Nick Brown emerges with it, and he's going to skate it up over center. 1-on-4 against the Magi. Thogfence back behind his own net. Trying to move it away to the far wall. We're at 5 minutes, 3 seconds to play here in the third period. Nick Brown behind his own net. Brown behind the Minot High net, I should say. Brown walks out, turns it. Bailey fires, save, rebound shot again. Nelson hangs tight. And at the top of the blue paint, Tony Nelson hangs on to it. Faceoff coming on his glove side.
Good save by Nelson there that time. A lot of bodies around taking whacks at that one. And he zeroed in on it, made the save with the glove, and held on. Faceoff will come to the left of Odin Nelson. 4:52 remaining in regulation play. And Century still with this one well in hand at 4-1. And Troy Olsen wants to confer some more with the referee.
14 years for Ole, they call him. He's got a pretty good grip on this whole hockey coaching thing, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. In the summertime, of course, he does baseball.
Thogfett back to retrieve in his own territory. Handled here and worked out off of Austin Wald behind the net. Nick Brown tried to move it in front. Fillian's got it here, and Fillian trying to move it back away. Now Morelli's on the move. Up to center ice. Morelli had his pass picked off there by Hansen. And Connor Hansen on the near wall just dumps it back in behind Odin Nelson. In the corner down low. Brown scrubbing for it. 2 Magicians, 3 Patriots, and Brown's on with it. Look out. Morelli was taken down. Make that Hurts taken down there by 28, Austin Wald.
So dejectedly, Wald will come to the box. Dennis Badeau, former Minot High player, former Mandan assistant coach and Mandan head coach, now has decided to wear stripes. Timeout, Minot High.
We'll do the same thing, Larry. 4-1. Century leads this one. Finale of the semifinals comes up next. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knopp. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. I've had many customers express being frustrated with the P.O. box they once had. They didn't realize they couldn't have packages delivered to their P.O. box. It's why they now have a personal mailbox here at the UPS store. We'll accept the packages for you, and you can pick them up when it's best for you. For a more efficient business, visit us at the UPS store. We are at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
They have tonight's call and every Nickelback album. Back to the voices of Magi Hockey. Here's Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
Nail biter tonight at the Pepsi rink. The Magicians are down 4-1. They've got a 2-minute power play with 4:09 to play here in the third period. Winner stamps their ticket to the state high school hockey tournament. Loser has to play Jamestown to stay alive tomorrow. Can Minot get it done? That's the question. Against the top D-corps in the state of North Dakota, in my opinion. And right now, a hot goaltender, and Matt Schmidt, who stopped 17 of 18 that he's seen tonight, and he's had some flashy ones. Fillion, Murphy, Oprud at the point. Feld's up front with Morelli as well. Sleddy hammers it around the boards, up to the near line. Murphy holds it in, fires a shot on. Schmidt makes save number 19. Goes back to Sleddy, and Sleddy goes off the glass and out all the way down on Odie Nelson's blocker side. And the puck lays in the face-off circle on Nelson's blocker side, where Oprud's back to retrieve. 3:45 to play here in the third period. Power play down to a minute and a half as Murphy gains some speed. He's multiple points in multiple games in a row coming into the tournament. Back up to Murphy, handles at the line. One-timer for Oprud. That one went through his skates, comes back down low. Here's the drive outside of the net. Fillion trying an on-angle shot, comes back to Morelli. Now Fillion's got it again to the circle, back to the point. Oprud turns it in. That one went just wide. Comes back away underneath the goal line out of Gretzky's office. It's Peyton Fillion that drops it back over to Casey Field. Field handles again. He's going to take it off the boards and dump it back in behind the netminder. Comes away to Sleddy. He rifles that one up to center ice off the glass. And on the retrieve is Riley Oprud in his own territory with under 3 to play. 45 seconds remains on the Minot High power play. It's 4-1 Century. If you're just joining us tonight on 1390 or on ProStyleProduction.com, the Patriots scored on their first 2 shots of the hockey game. 12 seconds in was the first one. They've led since the first period where they led 3-0. Minot High's been back in it. It's been even. Here's a drive coming. Waffle board save from Matt Schmidt. The blocker got it and it went to the corner where Deal wrangles it down, but he's met by 2 Patriots. One of them's Bailey. Bailey left it aside, and it's hammered all the way down there by the Patriots. And their penalty kill looks good again. That time it was Brandon Schaefer to the other end of the ice. Up to center from Hurd, sent it over to Stenberg. We're back to 5-on-5 action as Stenberg's hounded at center ice. Now it's taken here by the Patriots. Nelson's going to fall on it. He'll hang tight, and the faceoff will come on Odin Nelson's glove side with under 2 to play here in the third.
Yeah, the Magicians' compete level has been very good after that early debacle, but it just goes to prove when you're in a big game like this, you got to go from the start. I mean, you cannot have any lapses, and that really cost them tonight because you did point out here that ever since then, this has been a pretty equal hockey game.
Well, and you hate to pinpoint it on a player, but your goaltender's your most important piece, and you just can't get scored on your first 2 shots of the game. First one was a nice play. The second one was soft, and you can't argue that. It deflated them right out of the gate tonight, and that's an issue. Puck is taken and flipped in by the Patriots, back in behind. Hunter Cope's got it, and he wraps it around here to the near side wing. Comes back away down to the Patriots, and it's taken there by Drady, who tries to clear, goes back away, and moving it up to center ice are the Magi. Their quote-unquote 4th line is out right now. Same with the Patriots, and it's Eli Reimer that moves it forward up to center, taken away here by Hunter Cope with 1 goal tonight. Dan Sams 10 seconds away from the 1-minute call here for regulation. On the near side wing, D-zone down for the Patriots and Bailey. Here's Danny Sam.
1 minute to play regulation. 1 minute.
That's a great PA voice, by the way. Thank you, Danny. Taken out by Bailey, trying to move it out of his own defensive territory. It's wrapped around the boards to the far side wing. And the Patriots and Hanson have control of it. They're going to move on to play Bismarck High tomorrow. It's 1-2 for the West Region Championship. We'll have the call for you on ProStyleProduction.com. Tell your friends if you're in Bismarck, ProStyleProduction.com will have the broadcast tomorrow. Due to the North Dakota High School Activities Association bylaws, we're not allowed to announce that inside the arena. Back in. Drive comes left to Vody Nelson's glove hand. Kids get ready to count them down. We're at 10. Minot High's playing Jamestown at roughly 1 tomorrow afternoon. In on Schmidt. He's going to fall on it. He'll hang tight with 6 seconds to go. Can Minot High beat Jamestown? They split on the season. It's going to be a matchup tomorrow where the Blue Jays and Magicians will go toe-to-toe.
Boy, that's going to just be a huge battle. Isn't it unbelievable that you try to better the sport by making more people aware of it and broadcasting and trying to show some video, and then you get shut down and they tell you they don't want that? I just don't get it.
Wasn't even showing video. It was telling people that the game was on online radio for the link.
Yeah,
we got in trouble for making the PA announcement.
Yeah, well, if you want to make your high school sports in today's world more important, you have to let stuff like this happen. It's too bad.
Finals 4-1. Century's playing for a region title. Minot High's playing to go to state. If they beat Jamestown tomorrow, they will be the number 3 seed coming out of the West. Century gets the clean sweep on the Magi. 4 games in a row in the 2018-19 season. It's a final tonight, 4-1. Century wins it. Let's go to the Pro Style Production postgame show after the region semis come to a close with the team from Bismarck upending the Magi from Minot High. I'll tell you how they did it next. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
On the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knopp. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. I've had many customers express being frustrated with the P.O. box they once had. They didn't realize they couldn't have packages delivered to their P.O. box. It's why they now have a personal mailbox here at the UPS store. We'll accept the packages for you, and you can pick them up when it's best for you. For a more efficient business, visit us at the UPS store. We are at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
Hello, I'm Steve Funningsland, consumer lender at First Western Bank and Trust and sports enthusiast. Employees at First Western know the importance of teamwork and their day-to-day banking duties to best serve the community. I know the Minot and surrounding area high school and college athletic teams know the importance of teamwork as well. We want to wish all local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this year. Stay safe on the courts, on the fields, on the rinks, and in the gyms. We look forward to watching you succeed. With familiar faces you know, who know you by name, First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This presentation on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's finest collision center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Shields, Buffalo Wild Wings, Vibeto Orthodontics, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Bremer Bank, the Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, United Agronomy, Homesteaders, First Western Bank and Trust, Granite Springs, and First International Bank. It's time for the Pro Style Production DJ Services postgame show. Make your event Pro Style with the Pro Style Production DJ Services team. Visit ProStyleProduction.com and make your event Pro Style. Now, the Pro Style Production postgame show. Here's Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
Well, it's pretty much been that way the entire week here at the West Region Tournament. The upper seed has had the upper hand, and tomorrow it will be Bismarck High and Bismarck Century matching up in the West Region Championship game, roughly 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have the broadcast for you on ProStyleProduction.com. Minot High will play Jamestown tomorrow, roughly. What time can we say, Larry? Roughly 1:30 tomorrow?
Yeah, the games usually take about 2 hours, so one starts at 11. It's going to get done around 1-ish or so, so with the 30 minutes, I think about 1:30 probably.
1:30-ish tomorrow?
Yeah.
Dickinson's going to play Mandan to start the day at 11 a.m. So the winner of Dickinson and Mandan goes to state. That will be the number 4 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Jamestown, Minot High, the winner of that one will be the number 3 seed, and then Century and High are going to have to duke it out to see where they fall into place. 4-1 was the final here tonight at the Pepsi Rink. This is the Pro Style Production post-game show for this one, and unfortunately for Minot High tonight, they gave up a goal 12 seconds in, the 26th goal of the year for Nick Brown. He was quiet after that. But 12 seconds in, Century took it and ran with it. They didn't look back. They win 4-1. How else did they make it happen? And who gets credit with the points here tonight, Mr. Larry McFall?
Yeah, Brown had that first goal at the 12-second mark on assist from Hansen and Bailey. Colton Schulte got the second one at 4:43. That was their second shot on net to the game. That also from Carter Bailey, and that made it 2-0 for Century. Then at 15:21. Of the same period on the power play, Colton Schulte gets another one on assist from Alex Smarzik and Jacob Paul, and that made it 3-0 for Bismarck Century. And then they got their fourth goal at 11:08 of the second period. That was curl from Smarzik. That's a real tough name to say.
Samarzik, I believe it is.
Samarzik.
You're trying.
I don't have to say that anymore this year. And Hunter Cope got on the board on an assist from Josh Rady at 15:01 of the second, and that end the scores. And also another real big stat is our timekeeper, James Knutson, ate 26 Scotcheroos today.
It's on the score sheet.
It's on the score sheet, so I have to read it off. 26 Scotcheroos. So he won't be going to the bathroom for about a week and a half, probably.
Thank you for that.
Quality scoring chances, Century 11, Minot 10. So that was deemed to be pretty close. And penalties, Bismarck Century took 10 of them for 20 minutes in penalties. Minot had 8 for 16. The goaltenders, Matthew Schmidt, 7 saves in the first, 7 in the second, and 6 in the third for a game total of 20 out of the 21 shots on goal that he faced. And Odin Nelson, 13 saves in the first, 6 in the second, and 6 in the third for a total of 25 out of 29 shots. So after those first 2 shots that went in, Odin Nelson played a pretty good hockey game, only giving up 2 more goals in those 29 shots on goal. So, but it was a rough start, and they never recovered from it as the Magicians go down 4-1. And I do have one other score from the East, the other semifinal going on. Dean Wilson comes in as the interim coach. He's going for a second straight win. Davies leads Fargo South 2-0 at the end of the first periods. Goals by Jackson Bellerud and Cade Stibbe for Davies.
Yeah, Cade Stibbe, their all-time point leader over there at Fargo Davies. He's a great little player.
I can't believe you know that.
I know it all.
See, I don't know that stuff. You've got me completely in hockey knowledge.
Well, I don't know if I've got you in hockey knowledge. I've got you more time at
you know what's going on now. I don't. Well, I'm just lucky to know how to get home tonight after the game.
Well, I've got my day job where I sometimes pretend to be working and maybe just look at stats throughout the day, you know.
Right, you pretend to be looking. Yeah.
I do have to say on that note, though, I love North Dakota high school hockey. I think it's fantastic. I think that this progression of the junior game and what we've seen beyond high school hockey and so many players, the elevation of so many guys that have gone on to the next level with junior teams inside of North Dakota. You look at the Fargo Force of the USHL. You look at the Bismarck Bobcats, who have been there, it's got to be 25 years now for the Cats. I mean, they've been there for a while. And then the Minot Minotauros are approaching 10 years. It's great seeing this local talent in the game of hockey continue to produce and continue to move guys on to the next level. So, yeah, I do. I like to keep a beat on it. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch a guy tonight like Nick Brown. And
oh, boy.
I've been talking about him since he was a sophomore that was kind of shadowed by those other guys of Irie and Thomas. And I've been saying for a while that, in my mind, he's one of the best in the business, and he certainly continues to prove that. You know, he got the first one of the night tonight that shows why he's the player that he is. And you look at guys like that, and you look at watching these guys play, and I guess what the point is that the beauty of getting to watch a guy like Irie last year, you get to watch him now continue his career playing for the Bismarck Bobcats, or a player like Bray Efforts, maybe the goaltender from Minot High a few years back, that is good enough now to play on the MSU Beavers hockey team, and you get to watch those guys continue their careers. It makes it kind of fun when you know the background story to some of those players. So, yeah, it's good to get a beat on those guys and see what happens. 4-1's the final here tonight. Noah Grant is ice level with the coach of the Magicians. First, he's going to talk to Riley Oproot, actually, and Noah has Riley Oproot as his star of the game tonight. So let's take it down ice level. Riley Oproot is sitting ice level with Noah Grant.
Jordan, obviously a tough loss for you tonight. You know, what's it like for the turnaround? It's going to be a quick one and ready to go tomorrow.
Hey, you know, we put ourselves in a position after winning on Thursday night with a chance to go to state. So that's where we're at right now. Win one game, you get to go down to Fargo. I was just telling the kids in the locker room, you know, I want to go to Fargo with them. I want to go to Fargo with this group of kids, and we believe in this group of kids. We're scoring goals. We just need to, you know, work extremely hard tomorrow, take care of our own end, and, you know, get pucks to the net. And, you know, hopefully at the end of the day, you know, things turn out in our favor.
You've been in this spot before last year. A difficult contest, a 6-1 loss against Dickinson. Similar opponent in Jamestown. They're nipping at your heels in terms of the region standings. What do you expect from them?
Well, I think we owe them one. You know, we went down there about a month or so ago and, you know, played pretty well, just didn't score any goals, and they ended up coming out with an overtime win. So I think if we just got to come out and play hard tomorrow and, you know, play our game, take care of things, and, you know, just have that in the back of your mind that, you know, they got some kids that can go. That top line that they have is pretty good, and they got an unreal goaltender. So, you know, we need to get pucks, bodies, kitchen sink, you know, all sorts of things just to the crease and to the goalie. And, you know, hopefully he does his best Larry McFall tomorrow.
Thanks for the time. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Hi, Nick. Hi, Larry.
That's Jordan Willard.
Here with Riley Oproot now. Riley, obviously, like we just talked, tough loss for you, you know, mentally for the boys. What do you need to do to regroup?
You know, we just got to come out and win tomorrow, make it to state, keep a lot of shots on net, pretty good goalie. That's all we got to do.
Yeah, definitely a simple game plan. What do you expect from Jamestown from the previous matchups that you've had this year?
A lot of body, got a good top line, goaltender's good. We've seen a lot of shots on him, and that's all we really got to do.
Last thing, I have the privilege of being down here in between the benches, and, you know, you're young, you're only a sophomore, but you're definitely a vocal leader, and, you know, definitely had the motor running tonight. You know, as a young group, how has it been, you know, for you to be able to transition and essentially take charge in a room where maybe a lot of sophomores don't necessarily get to take charge on the big stage?
You know, it'll be good later on, be a leader. So, you know, just got to take care of it.
Best luck tomorrow. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Noah.
Nick, definitely a tough contest and a chance for the Minot Magicians to go to state against the Jamestown Blue Jays tomorrow night.
Thanks a lot. That's Noah Grant, third member of our broadcast team. Before we head to our final commercial break, before our stars of the game tonight, how about Riley Oproot down here? He kind of reminds you of Dave Hackstall a little bit, just all business, you know. Get a lot of shots on net. Let's get to it. Let's get it done tomorrow. We're going to need to make state. Pretty simple message from one of the younger leaders from the Magicians. Not a whole lot of words, but he gets the point across.
No, not a whole lot of words. But what he says is, right to the point. That's exactly what they have to do.
We'll come back with our Minot's finest collision center stars of the game. We'll look a little bit further into the matchup with Jamestown. Then we're going to head to bed, shut the lights off at the Pepsi Rink final. Final tonight.
We're not going out to celebrate my Stump Stonewall victory?
It's time for bed.
There's got to be pizza here tomorrow night.
Come
on, Tony Mueller. Fess up.
4-1. Century wins tonight. We'll be back to put a cap on it. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Let's get back to the ice with the voices of Magi Hockey, Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
4-1's the final tonight. Bismarck Century, the 2 seed in the West, takes on the number 1 seed in the West. Tomorrow, Bismarck High after Minot High falls to Century tonight, 4-1, the final score. Nick Hulberg alongside Larry McFall. Special thanks again to Noah Grant, our third member of our broadcast team, joining us here tonight. Larry, final thoughts on this one heading into a matchup tomorrow with a very tough Jamestown team that had about a loss earlier this year. They've got a player by the name of Jace Thompson who's in the top 15 in scoring across North Dakota. I'll give you those exact numbers heading into today's action. But, you know, when you go against a player like Jace Thompson, 14 in the state, he had 34 points coming into today. He had some more action on the score sheet, and they've got a goaltender that's solid back there as well. Your thoughts heading into tomorrow against Jamestown, who's going to be hungry to get back to the state tournament, and a must-win situation for the Magi.
Yeah, it's a must-win for both of them, and both are in the same boat, and I think both teams are fairly equal in caliber. The goaltender today for Jamestown played very well, and they're just a well-balanced team. Matt Stockert, the head coach, has been around for a long time, and he knows what to do to defeat certain teams and different things to do. So his strategy, I think, is going to be a physical one, I think. I think he's going to try to knock the Magicians around a little bit because Jamestown has some pretty big boys compared to Minot's team. To me, it really seems to be built on speed. You know, Philly and Murphy, a lot of these guys aren't really big. You know, Bonebreak probably might be one of the biggest guys they have on the team as far as height goes. So I think you can get physical with Minot, and Matt Stockert, I believe, is going to do that. So the Magicians have to move quick. What killed them tonight and what they need to do tomorrow, I feel, you have to have that initial pass out of the zone on a stick. It's got to be on the stick and you're gone. And if it's not, you're icing it or you're losing it in the neutral zone. It's just a mess if you don't make that first pass out of your zone. They just weren't doing it tonight at all. They weren't hitting that pass. Last night in the game, they had a lot of sharp passing, leaving their zone, getting the attack going. Tonight that wasn't there. Maybe it wasn't there because of Bismarck Century's forechecking and probably some of the best defensemen I've seen. But, I mean, when you're talking about what they have to do, I think that's what they have to do.
Bismarck Century, Bismarck High tomorrow, roughly, I don't know, let's call it 4 o'clock for the region title game. First game's at 11. It'll take about 2 hours. That puts us at 1. Then Minot High will play Jamestown. By the way, it's Dickinson-Mandan tomorrow at 11. 2 hours.
2.5.
2.5, we'll call it. And then it's about a 30-minute break in between the games. Then Minot High plays. They'll play Jamestown. You get 2.5 there, and then another maybe 20 minutes in between. Possibly depends on how those games go. And then we'll have the region title game. So just log into Pro Style Production at 1390 tomorrow. Let's call it around 1:15, something like that. You should be good to go for catching the pregame show. No solid start time. But when we get to region title time tomorrow with Bismarck High and Bismarck Century, two teams that have matched up twice on the year.
Ooh, I can't wait for that matchup.
Both games have gone to overtime. Noah Grant and I will have the call for you here on Pro Style Production. But who wins in that one? Man, it's two different teams with Century and High, but two really good teams with Century and High. I think goaltending is going to be the make or break tomorrow, and what we saw to Matt Schmidt tonight, I think that Century might give Mike Peluso's team the tiebreaker, the rubber match. We're going to find out tomorrow, but your thoughts on that matchup?
You know, Duncan Ackerman can play real well, though, too.
Ackerman, his son.
Excuse me, Yeah, another 1980s flashback. Ackerman can play really well, too, so I think he can equalize Matthew Schmidt. But, boy, you got to be real good to score on Matthew Schmidt. Now he's only given up 16 goals this year with the one tonight. So, boy, that's going to be pretty interesting, I think.
It's time for the First International Bank and Trust Intermission Report. First International.
It's time for the Minot's Finest Collision Center Stars of the Game. Minot's Finest Collision Center. We are Minot's Finest.
We're back.
Well, that's the last time I let you hit that button, I guess.
Yeah, what happened there?
Stars of the Game time, brought to you by Minot's Finest Collision Center.
I thought you were going to ask Noah's opinion on tomorrow, but did we even pick the Stars of the Game yet? Or you did?
Time for the Stars
okay, that's all you, man.
Time for the Stars of the Game tonight, brought to you by Minot's Finest Collision Center. We are Minot's Finest, 701-839-0989. Corey Almy and the staff there, they really are the best in the business. Here's the Stars of the Game tonight. And in my mind, when you look at the matchup and who played well tonight, that defensive core for Bismarck Century, they were the difference maker in the hockey game. You got Bailey and Hansen and Sleddy back there. All three of those guys were solid. Hansen had a point tonight. Sleddy had two of them tonight in the contest. And Carter Bailey that had two tonight. Bailey's going to be one of my Stars of the Game tonight. Nick Brown's going to be one of my Stars of the Game tonight. He's such a force up there, but with 2 goals tonight, goals 8 and 9 on the year, Colton Schulte is going to be the star of the game. In my mind, all Century players tonight, everybody in agreement up here in the booth. You guys all shake your heads, yes, so that's who they will be tonight. Closing thoughts, Larry, before we head to tomorrow on the final day. Must win to stay alive to head to the state tournament for the Magi.
It's always my favorite day of the regionals because it's do or die now, those first 2 games. And usually they're pretty equal in caliber every year. So watching these 2 qualifying games, I used to call them losers out, but I got chastised for calling them losers. So now in 2019 it has to be worded differently. But I just really enjoy it. It's usually close, and that the championship game, I can't wait for that. I think that's just going to be just an outstanding battle, but they should all be good games.
Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow here at the Pepsi Rink.
Yep. We'll see you guys then.
Final tonight is 4-1. Bismarck Century scores 12 seconds in, and they don't look back. They play Bismarck High for the region title tomorrow afternoon around 4 o'clock. Action starts at 11 a.m. Minot High will be the second game of the day when they take on Jamestown early in the morning. You've got Mandan taking on Dickinson. For Noah Grant, Larry McFall, my broadcast partners, we also want to thank Riley Operud for his time. We want to thank John Grubb as well. Final 4-1, Century wins. We'll see you tomorrow. Must win to stay alive.
Systems go for lunch. When supper time's up, crunch you.